UTE Audio Production presents Maybe Not Now, But Today, written by Dr.MahdiMonroe, read by AI. There comes a time when you realize that waiting for the perfect moment won't get you where you want to be. Maybe Not Now, But Today is about the time we have and the choices we make within it. My goal with this book isn't to be right, but to make you think. If you're not someone others look up to, what are you really doing with your life? This is a guide for those who understand that life won't wait forever, yet also know it's never too late to begin. Whether you're confronting your past, building your future, or finding your path today, this audiobook takes you through stories, insights, and lessons that remind us all the time to act is now. Chapter 1. Alter Your Perspective. Have you ever felt trapped by your circumstances, found yourself stuck in a cycle of negative thinking, convinced that your life could never change? What if the power to transform your reality lies not in changing the world around you, but in changing the way you see it? We live in a complex world, and the way we perceive life can be a powerful force, shaping our experiences and determining our overall happiness. It's a force that can either propel us toward fulfillment or keep us stuck in a cycle of negativity. In this chapter, we will explore the art of altering our perspective, drawing inspiration from three remarkable individuals who defied adversity and chose to see the world through a different lens: Viktor Frankl, Anton Chekhov, and Anne Frank. The power of perspective. Imagine yourself in the darkest of circumstances, as Viktor Frankl found himself in a Nazi concentration camp during World War II. A psychiatrist and neurologist, Frankl had every reason to feel hopeless. Torn away from his family, who were later murdered in the Holocaust, and surrounded by unimaginable suffering and death, he could have easily lost his mind, blamed himself, or succumbed to despair. One might assume that hope would be extinguished in such a place. Yet, in this harrowing environment, Frankl discovered a fundamental truth. He still possessed the power to choose his perspective. Frankl observed that even when deprived of all freedoms, humans have the capacity to find meaning in suffering. He famously wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." For Frankl, the ability to find purpose in pain allowed him to endure the brutal conditions of the camp. He realized that even in the face of the most horrendous conditions, one could control how to interpret and respond to their experiences. This insight became the foundation of his psychological approach, logotherapy, which posits that the primary drive in life is not pleasure, as Freud believed, but the pursuit of meaning. Frankl's resilience underlined his belief that when we can find meaning in our suffering, we transcend the pain. His experience teaches us that perspective is not just a passive lens through which we view the world, but an active choice that can redefine our lives no matter the circumstances. Transforming pain into art. Anton Chekhov, the renowned Russian playwright and author, was born into a life of hardship and struggle. Chekhov's father was a tyrannical figure who ruled the family with an iron fist, subjecting his children to frequent beatings. The family's financial situation was precarious, and they lived in a constant state of insecurity. After Chekhov's father fled to Moscow to escape his creditors, young Anton took on the responsibility of supporting his family, working as a tutor while studying medicine. Despite the trauma and challenges of his upbringing, Chekhov did not let bitterness consume him. Instead, He chose to view his difficult experiences as fuel for his art. He channeled his pain and observations of human suffering into his writing, which became his means of understanding and interpreting the complexities of life. Through his short stories and plays, he explored the paradoxes of human nature, often highlighting the absurdities, the pathos, and the humor found in everyday life. Chekhov's ability to maintain empathy and humor, even while addressing the harsh realities of existence, illustrates the transformative power of altering one's perspective. He did not simply document life's difficulties, he found meaning in them, crafting stories that resonated with readers across the globe. His works, such as The Cherry Orchard and The Seagull, are filled with characters who face deep personal conflicts, yet they reveal universal truths about the human condition. Chekhov's life and works demonstrate that even in the face of adversity, there is always room for empathy, creativity, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. By choosing to look at life from a different angle, he not only transformed his own experiences, but also left a legacy that continues to inspire. Anne Frank, Finding Hope in the Midst of Horror. Anne Frank's story is a profound testament to the power of altering one's perspective in the most challenging times. Anne, a Jewish girl, and her family went into hiding during the Holocaust to escape the persecution of the Nazis. They lived in a secret annex in Amsterdam for over 2 years, confined to a small space where they could not even make a sound during the day to avoid detection. Despite her youth and the dire circumstances, Anne's perspective was remarkably mature and hopeful. In her diary, which later became known as The Diary of a Young Girl, Anne wrote with a voice that was filled with an enduring belief in the goodness of people, despite the horrors surrounding her. She penned, "I still believe, in spite of everything, that people are truly good at heart." This statement reflects her unwavering belief in the innate goodness of humanity, even as she faced some of its darkest manifestations. What sets Anne's story apart is her determination to maintain a positive and hopeful outlook. Her diary entries reveal a young girl who, instead of surrendering to despair, chose to see beauty in the world around her, even from her hidden sanctuary. Her reflections on the beauty of nature, her dreams of becoming a writer, and her insights into human nature illustrate an incredible capacity for hope. Anne Frank's ability to find light in the darkest of times is a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. Anne's story is not just a record of her experiences, but a testament to the power of a hopeful perspective. It is a call to see the world not as it is, but as it could be, and to recognize that within us lies the strength to choose optimism, even in the face of adversity. Understand, to alter our perspective effectively, we must consciously choose the path of optimism. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. Instead, it involves reframing our experiences in a way that empowers us. When life presents challenges, we can ask ourselves questions like, "What can I learn from this?" Or, "How can I use this experience to become a better person?" These questions shift our perspective from victimhood to resilience, from despair to hope. Keys to altering your perspective. 1. Start a daily gratitude journal. Why? Regularly focusing on the positive aspects of your life can shift your overall perspective toward positivity. How? Jot down 3 things you're thankful for each day. Over time, this practice helps you naturally focus on the good things in your life. 2. Practice mindfulness and self-awareness. Why? Mindfulness helps you stay present and become aware of your thoughts and emotions without judgment. How? Engage in daily mindfulness exercises, such as deep breathing or meditation, to increase awareness of your mental state. This allows you to observe your reactions and thought patterns, providing a clearer understanding of your perspective. 3. Reframe negative thoughts. Why? Cognitive reframing helps shift your mindset from a negative to a more positive or neutral stance. How? When you encounter a negative thought, actively challenge its validity and look for a more balanced or positive interpretation. For example, instead of thinking, "I failed," reframe it to, "I learned something valuable for next time." Seek diverse perspectives. Why? Exposure to different viewpoints broadens your understanding and can help you see your situation from a new angle. How? Talk to people with different backgrounds, read diverse literature, or engage in discussions that challenge your current beliefs. This can help you gain new insights and reduce the tunnel vision often associated with personal problems. 5. Focus on solutions, not problems. Why? Shifting your focus from problems to solutions can reduce feelings of helplessness and increase your sense of control. How? Identify the aspects of your situation that you can change and develop a plan of action. Break down your goals into manageable steps and celebrate small victories along the way. 6. Practice self-compassion. Why? Being kind to yourself in moments of difficulty helps to reduce stress and improve emotional resilience. How? Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer to a friend. Acknowledge your feelings, forgive your mistakes, and remind yourself that everyone struggles at times. In the journey of life, our perspective is a compass that guides us. The stories of Viktor Frankl, Anne Frank, and Anton Chekhov remind us that even in the darkest moments, we have the power to choose our attitude. We can opt for optimism, reframing challenges as opportunities, and practicing gratitude to shift our perspective toward positivity. The path to fulfillment begins with a simple yet profound shift in the way we see the world. Life can only be understood backward, but it must be lived forwards. Søren Kierkegaard. Chapter 2. Inherited Decisions. Growing up, our families often have a significant influence on the paths we choose in life. Sometimes these decisions feel like they are made for us before we have a chance to decide for ourselves. But what does it mean to follow in the footsteps of our families? And why is it essential to find our own way? Imagine being part of a family where everyone is a doctor. Your parents, siblings, and even your cousins all wear white coats and work in hospitals. It might seem like becoming a doctor is the only option. But what if that's not what makes your heart sing? What if there's something else you're truly passionate about? Or think about a family where everyone is a police officer. The uniform, the squad cars, it's all around you. You might feel pressured to follow in their footsteps, believing it's the only acceptable choice. But what if your true calling lies in a completely different field? If we continue on paths chosen for us, it can soon feel like carrying a heavy backpack, filled not with books or homework, but with resentment and regret. Deep down, you might feel like you're breaking under the weight of expectations, but it's okay to break away from those expectations. That's why I wrote this chapter. The story of Lily Zhang, balancing tradition and passion. In 1954, Lily Zhang grew up in a family where the stethoscope and white coat were more than just medical tools. They were symbols of pride, success, and a legacy stretching back generations. In her family, rooted deeply in Asian culture, becoming a doctor wasn't just a career choice. It was a way to honor the family and maintain its standing in the community. From a young age, Lily was immersed in this world of medicine. Dinner conversations often revolved around medical breakthroughs and patient stories. Her siblings were either already in medical school or preparing for it. The path laid out for her was clear and well-trodden. However, Lily's heart was always in the kitchen. She found solace and joy in the art of cooking. Her earliest memories were filled with the aromas of her grandmother's kitchen, where she learned how ingredients could be mixed in harmony to create something beautiful and nourishing. Lily's dream was to become a chef, to explore the world through flavors and textures, and to share her culinary creations with others. When she voiced her dream to her family, it was met with disbelief and disapproval. To them, choosing to become a chef was not just an unusual path. It was a step away from a prestigious and noble profession. Her decision was seen as a disregard for family tradition and a challenge to the cultural expectations placed upon her. Despite the pressure and emotional turmoil, Lily remained steadfast in her pursuit. She enrolled in a culinary school, much to her family's dismay. The journey was tough. She battled not only the rigorous training of the culinary arts, but also the weight of familial disappointment. Over time, as Lily honed her skills and gained recognition for her talent, her family's perception began to change. They saw the same passion and dedication in her eyes that they had for medicine, but channeled in a different direction. Her success as a chef started to bridge the gap between her dreams and her family's expectations. Lily's story became one of inspiration in her community. She opened her own restaurant, a melting pot of culture and flavors, which stood as a testament to her journey. Through her culinary achievements, she redefined what it meant to bring honor to her family, showing that it's possible to respect one's heritage while also following personal passions. Think of Cordell Broadus, the son of rapper Snoop Dogg. The world expected him to be a football star at UCLA, a path seemingly laid out by his family's legacy. But Cordell realized that football wasn't what made him happy anymore. He wanted to capture memories through his love of film, not catch a football on the field. Cordell made a tough decision. He walked away from the football spotlight, despite all the expectations surrounding him. Just like Lily, he felt the weight of inherited decisions, but he chose to follow his own passion. It wasn't easy. His family and many others might not have understood at first, but Cordell knew he deserved to be happy and follow his dreams, even if they were different from what his family had in mind. Consider Ana, who grew up in a family of lawyers in Madrid. Every member of her family had a degree in law. It was the glue that held them together. From a young age, she was groomed to take over the family practice. But Ana felt drawn to a different kind of courtroom, the stage. Her heart beat faster not at the thought of defending a case, but at the thought of performing a monologue under the spotlight. When she finally mustered the courage to tell her family that she wanted to pursue acting, the reaction was cold and unforgiving. They saw it as a childish whim, a disgrace to their respected profession. Yet Ana knew that the law was not her passion. Her passion was storytelling, giving life to characters and moving people through her performances. Ana pursued her dream, facing rejection after rejection. But with every failed audition, she learned, grew, and became more resilient. Eventually, she landed a role that put her on the map, and her family's disapproval turned to quiet admiration. Ana's story serves as a reminder that breaking away from expectations is never easy, but it is always worth it if it leads you to your true calling. Understand, when following your passion, you will meet resistance, a powerful force of misunderstanding, judgment, and distance. But choosing yourself first is a beautifully empowering feeling. Keys: steps to break away from inherited decisions. 1. Self-reflection. Take time to understand your interests and passions. Reflect on what truly makes you happy and fulfilled. 2. Seek support. Talk to friends, mentors, or counselors who can offer unbiased advice and support your aspirations. 3. Explore and experiment. Try out different fields or hobbies to discover what resonates with you. 4. Educate yourself. Learn about the career or field you're interested in. This could involve reading, taking courses, or shadowing professionals. 5. Set goals. Outline clear, achievable goals for your new path. This could start with small steps leading to bigger changes. 6. Communicate with family. Have open and honest discussions with your family about your aspirations. Help them understand your perspective. 7. Prepare for challenges. Understand that the journey may not be easy and prepare mentally for challenges and setbacks. 8. Stay resilient. Believe in your choices and stay committed to your path, even when faced with doubts or criticism. In the tapestry of life, let your unique thread weave a story that reflects your true passions and ambitions, for it is in breaking away from inherited decisions that we discover the extraordinary within ourselves. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Chapter 3. Delusion of Relocation. If you're like many of us, the thought of relocating might seem exciting at first, right? The idea of a fresh start in a new place can feel like the perfect solution for the challenges we face. We often think, if only I lived in a different city or state, things would be better. This belief comes from assuming that our current environment is to blame for our struggles, but the truth often lies within us, not in our surroundings. The heart of the matter is our internal dynamics. It's not the city or state that holds us back. It's often our own mental barriers, self-doubt, and distractions that hinder us. For example, distractions like constantly scrolling through social media, hanging out with friends, partying every weekend, watching hours of TV, or even overcommitting to tasks that don't align with our goals can prevent us from facing the real issues at hand. We may feel stuck in our careers or personal lives and think a new location will help us break free, but what we truly need is a shift in mindset, not just a change of scenery. Consider Michael, who moved to Los Angeles, hoping the sunny weather and new opportunities would bring him happiness. But soon after arriving, he found himself caught in the same patterns of overwork and stress that plagued him back home. It wasn't the city. It was his inability to set boundaries, his habit of saying yes to every request, and his reliance on distractions like binge-watching TV shows to avoid dealing with his stress. When people do succeed after relocating, it's not because the new location has magical qualities or better people. Instead, it's often due to a mental shift that naturally comes with the change. A renewed focus on oneself, a commitment to self-improvement, and a willingness to break free from old habits and distractions. The excitement of a new place might spark this change, but the real work happens within. Relocation can inspire us to reevaluate our lives, but it's crucial to recognize that we can make these shifts without moving anywhere at all. By addressing our internal challenges, like fear of failure, lack of motivation, and distractions that keep us from our true goals, we can find fulfillment right where we are. A false hope in a new place. Consider the story of Candace Kilpatrick. After years in an unfulfilling marriage in Asia, She decided to move to New York City, believing a change of environment would change her life. In Asia, Candace felt trapped, her days marked by isolation and a lack of fulfillment. Her marriage, once joyful, had become a cage limiting her growth and happiness. The decision to move to New York was not easy. It meant leaving behind the familiar and stepping into the unknown. As she boarded the plane, Candace felt a mix of fear and excitement. She wasn't just leaving a place, she was leaving a life that no longer served her. In New York, the city's energy was palpable. The skyscrapers, bustling streets, and diverse culture were a stark contrast to her life in Asia. But it wasn't the city that transformed Candace, it was her internal shift. Determined to redefine her life, she embraced new opportunities, enrolled in culinary school, and explored her passion for cooking. A dream she had long suppressed. This internal shift, rather than the geographical change, was the real catalyst for Candace's happiness. She realized that fulfillment came not from the city she lived in, but from her mindset and her willingness to seize new opportunities. Candace's story shows the power of internal transformation and reminds us that true change comes from within. Seeking change in all the wrong places. Candace's experience is far from unique. Many people believe that simply leaving their current situation will lead to a better life. They imagine that moving to cities like Houston, Miami, Los Angeles, or Vegas will solve their problems. Yet, they often find that the same issues follow them, not because of the place, but because they never address their internal struggles. Take, for instance, Michael, who moved to Los Angeles hoping to escape the pressure of a high-stress corporate job in Chicago. He imagined that the sunny weather and laid-back culture would bring him peace. But soon, he found himself caught in the same patterns of overwork and stress. It wasn't the city. It was his inability to set boundaries and manage his time effectively. Or consider Sarah, who moved from a small town to a bustling city, thinking it would cure her loneliness. But without working on her social skills and confidence, she found herself feeling even more isolated amidst the crowds. It wasn't the size of the town. It was her approach to connection. Understand. The belief that relocation equates to liberation can lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy. When we think we've left our problems behind, we may adopt a fresh perspective and a positive mindset, attracting new opportunities. It's not that the new location is inherently better, it's our changed attitude that brings positive outcomes. However, it's crucial to recognize that this transformation is available without changing our physical surroundings. By understanding that our mental landscape plays a pivotal role in our success, we can create the same kind of shift wherever we are. It involves confronting our internal limitations, reevaluating our priorities, and embracing a mindset that fosters growth and new connections. Keys to prosperity. Finding change without relocation. 1. Begin by introspecting. Reflect on your life. Are your struggles due to external circumstances or internal factors? 2. Identify the root cause. Distinguish between problems caused by your environment and those stemming from personal attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors. 3. Evaluate the desire to relocate. If you're considering a move, critically assess your motivations. Are you escaping internal issues that will likely follow you, or are there tangible benefits? 4. Develop internal solutions. Focus on self-improvement, enhance skills, foster positive thinking, and address emotional challenges. 5. Seek support and guidance. Reach out to mentors, counselors, or therapists for unbiased perspectives and advice on personal growth. 6. Make mindful decisions. If you decide to relocate, ensure it's a well-considered decision, not an impulsive move. Have a plan for personal development. 7. Embrace change as an opportunity. Whether you move or stay, view your situation as a chance for growth. Embrace new experiences and challenges. 8. Establish a support network. Build a network of supportive people in your current or new location. Connect with those who encourage your growth. 9. Monitor and reflect on your progress. Regularly reflect on your growth journey. Adjust your strategies to ensure continuous development. 10. Cultivate contentment. Work towards finding happiness in your current circumstances, understanding that external changes alone are not the solution. The power lies within you. The ultimate catalyst for success lies within us. By recognizing that our mindset and approach to life matter more than our geographic location, we can unlock the same potential for growth and achievement without uprooting ourselves. Everywhere you go, there you are. Jon Kabat-Zinn. Chapter 4. Parents in competition with their parents, but losing with their children. Healing the wounds of generational competition. In life, parents may sometimes unknowingly find themselves in competition with their own parents when raising their children. This competition often involves trying to outdo their parents by providing what they themselves lacked, whether it's emotional support or material comfort. At first glance, this might not seem like a problem. In fact, it can appear to be a good thing. But what begins as a positive intention can sometimes lead to unintended consequences. For example, if a father grew up without much communication with his own father, he might try to compensate by speaking more to his child, determined to do better. However, in focusing solely on outdoing his own father, he might overlook other essential areas of his child's life, unintentionally creating a new imbalance. Similarly, if a mother lacked love and affection as a child, she might shower her own child with overwhelming amounts of love, inadvertently hindering the child's independence. In both cases, the desire to provide what was missing in their own upbringing leads to a new cycle of unintended competition and complications. As children, we often grow up with certain desires and needs. We look to our parents to provide us with love, attention, and care. But what happens when those needs aren't fully met? We find ourselves wanting to do better, to be better than our own parents, which can inadvertently perpetuate generational pain. I remember as a child, my friend Terry's father was often busy with work, and he rarely engaged in conversations with him about how he was feeling or what was happening in his life. It left a void, a yearning for something more. Terry wanted to prove that he could be different, that he could surpass his father in certain aspects, but he always seemed to fall short of winning his approval. Years later, Terry entered into a relationship with a woman named Maria. Whenever Terry came home, he would say fewer words to her, and if they got into a deep discussion about his failure to communicate, he would say, "At least I talk more to you than my father ever did to me." He was unaware of how this competition with his parent was affecting his personal relationships. This phenomenon is encapsulated in the concept of intergenerational patterns, or intergenerational transmission, a key principle in psychology. It explores the transmission of behaviors, communication styles, relationship patterns, and emotional responses from one generation to the next. These patterns, often replicated unconsciously from the behaviors and practices of parents and grandparents, can have either positive or negative impacts. They play a significant role in shaping how individuals form relationships and interact with others. For example, A parent's approach to communication, conflict resolution, and emotional expression is often mirrored in their child's behavior, who may then pass these traits on to their own children. Recognizing and understanding these intergenerational patterns is vital for breaking cycles of negative behavior and fostering healthier relationship dynamics. In therapy and psychology, professionals work with individuals and families to identify and address these patterns. Through this process, therapists help people create more positive and healthy outcomes for themselves and future generations, focusing on improved communication, stronger relationships, and better overall emotional health across generations. This proactive approach is instrumental in breaking negative cycles and promoting a healthier, more balanced approach to family dynamics and parenting. But here's the thing. Sometimes, in our quest to outdo our parents, we unknowingly repeat the very patterns we sought to escape. It's like we're trapped in a cycle, trying so hard to win a competition that we don't realize we're playing the wrong game. I witnessed this cycle firsthand in my own family. My father, like many of his generation, was a man who worked many hours. He rarely engaged in conversations when he did come home, especially with my younger brother. It seemed as if he didn't quite know how to connect on an emotional level. He wasn't there for the important moments, like basketball games, or the times when my brother simply wanted to talk about his life. Years later, my brother became a father himself. With his son, he found himself echoing the same patterns he'd observed in our father. He thought that by being physically present, he was doing better than our dad. Yet just like our father had been distant, my brother was too. He might have been physically there, but he wasn't truly present in his son's life. Keys to being aware. It begins with a shift in mindset. Instead of trying to outdo our parents, we should strive to be the parents our children need. That means actively listening when they talk, asking them about their interests, and being fully present during their games and activities. By recognizing these patterns and making a conscious effort to change them, we can break the generational cycle of competition. This shift benefits not only our children, but also future generations. It creates a positive ripple effect, leading to healthier, more nurturing family environments. Part 2. Discovering the real parents behind the mask of authority. Imagine our parents as captains of ships, navigating their families through life's turbulent seas. Often perceived as the authorities who set rules, make decisions, and maintain discipline, parents are also individuals with their own sets of dreams and fears. The goal is to get to know our parents as people before parents as we get older. This will help you gain more understanding of your parents as individuals rather than just parents, enabling you to forge a better relationship. In our first story, Keisha, who suffered physical pain and betrayal by a family member, later prevented her kids from sleeping over at friends and family members' houses. In the second story, we meet Emily's dad, John. To Emily, he was the enforcer of curfews and chores. Yet one evening, a surprising discovery of his hidden journal filled with heartfelt poetry unveiled his long-ignored dreams that she knew nothing about. In our third story, Rachel's mom, Susan, who had always been the pillar of strength, reveals her vulnerability during a thunderstorm, which shocked Rachel deeply. It is through this shared moment that Rachel discovers the fears her mom had concealed to protect the family. The story of Keisha. Keisha grew up in a toxic household where her parents constantly fought and never paid attention to her. One day, while she was in her room and her uncles and cousins were visiting, one of her cousins came in and sexually assaulted her. Afterward, Keisha, devastated, put on her clothes and cried uncontrollably while curled up in a ball. As Keisha grew older, she tried to confide in her parents, but they never understood her pain. She eventually had 2 children, a boy and a girl. Due to her traumatic experience, Keisha never allowed her children to stay over at any family members' houses, fearing they might suffer the same fate. One day, Keisha's daughter, Olivia, asked to have a sleepover at a friend's house. Keisha refused, as she always did, which left Olivia confused and frustrated. However, one evening, after a particularly long day, Olivia came home to find her mother crying. Concerned, she approached Keisha, who finally shared the story of her past and why she was so protective. Understanding the trauma her mother had endured, Olivia realized that Keisha's strictness was not about control, but about protection. This revelation brought them closer, and they formed a deep, unbreakable bond. Keisha also confided in her brother Brian about what had happened to her. This disclosure brought their family closer together, creating a newfound strength and unity among them. Story 2. Meet Emily's dad, John. To Emily, he was the enforcer of curfews and chores, but late one evening she stumbled upon an old journal hidden away in the attic. Inside, she found pages filled with her dad's poetry, deep, heartfelt verses that spoke of dreams he'd long put aside to raise a family. Emily saw her dad differently that day, as a man who had sacrificed his aspirations for the sake of his loved ones. Our parents, just like us, are vessels of emotion. They experience the soaring highs of joy, the depths of sadness, the fiery bursts of anger, and the quiet tremors of fear. Yet these emotions are often hidden behind a mask of strength. Story 3. Meet Rachel's mom, Susan, who had always been the pillar of strength in their household. One evening, during a thunderstorm, the lights flickered, and Susan hugged Rachel tightly. In that moment, Rachel realized that her mom had her own fears, but she'd always shielded her family from them. They sat by candlelight, sharing stories, and Rachel felt a profound connection she'd never experienced before. Understand, our parents are not merely figures of authority, they are complex individuals. As we unearth their dreams, share their emotions, and learn their histories, we strengthen the bonds that unite our families, heal old wounds, and truly appreciate the beauty of our kin beyond the titles of mom and dad. In the end, the goal of parenting should not be to compete with our own parents or to do whatever they did not do for us. The true goal should be to be an engaged parent, an active parent who listens, talks, and is there for their child throughout life's journey. Keys to building a better relationship with your parents. 1. See beyond the role. Understand that your parents are people with their own experiences, dreams, and fears. 2. Encourage open dialogue. Create opportunities for honest conversations where parents can share their personal stories. 3. Show empathy. Acknowledge their sacrifices and understand their behavior in the context of their own upbringing and life experiences. 4. Find common ground. Participate in activities or discussions that highlight your shared interests or experiences. 5. Express gratitude. Recognize and appreciate the efforts your parents have made, even if they weren't perfect. 6. Heal through understanding. By recognizing their humanity, we heal old wounds and build stronger connections. Celebrate the history of your parents, for within it lies the wisdom of future generations. Donnie Taylor. Chapter 5. Don't break generational curses. Just jump over it. I always wondered why many of us find ourselves facing generational curses, patterns and challenges that seem to be passed down through the generations. It's like trying to break free from an invisible chain that binds us. But what if there's a simpler way? What if the chains you're trying to break don't need to be broken at all? What if you could just go around them, go under them, or jump over them, leaving the chain for whoever placed it there? Let me share a story with you. Meet Kevin, a young man from a family plagued by financial struggles for generations. His parents, grandparents, and even great-grandparents had faced the same cycle of debt and scarcity. It was as if a dark cloud hung over his family, and Kevin was determined to find his way out. Rather than attempting to break this generational curse head-on, Kevin decided to take a different approach. He sought financial education, learned about smart investments, and started saving diligently. He also surrounded himself with people who had successfully overcome financial challenges. One day, Kevin's family faced another financial setback. Instead of diving into the same patterns of debt and despair, Kevin calmly assessed the situation. He realized that his newfound knowledge and support network were his tools to escape the curse. He started a small business, invested wisely, and gradually improved his family's financial situation. Over time, he not only lifted himself out of the cycle, but also inspired his family members to follow his lead. Kevin's story reminds us that sometimes breaking generational curses doesn't require us to shatter chains. Instead, it's about finding a different path, one that allows us to sidestep the familiar traps and move toward a brighter future. It's about walking over obstacles, going around them, or simply stepping over them. Recent scientific research offers a compelling perspective on the concept of generational curses, typically understood as negative patterns recurring through families. This research, encompassing fields like psychology, sociology, and genetics, provides insights into how these curses may be not only understood, but potentially altered. The latest studies in epigenetics reveal that life experiences and choices can alter our brains down to the DNA level. These changes can be inherited, but, crucially, are reversible. This suggests that negative familial patterns can be modified across generations. Psychological research highlights the concept of transgenerational trauma, where unresolved trauma and its effects, like anxiety or depression, are passed down. Such inheritance can lead to various challenges but can be mitigated through strategies like open communication, fostering resilience. Especially studies on children of incarcerated parents show that despite societal stereotypes, many overcome these challenges through strong community and familial connections, redefining personal success beyond societal norms. By choosing a different path, armed with knowledge, resilience, and a supportive community, you can change the course of your family's history. It's not about breaking curses, it's about forging a path to a brighter future, one step at a time. Understand, as you head on your journey to overcome generational challenges, remember this. You don't always have to break something. Sometimes you can simply walk over it, go around it, or step over it. Leave the breaking of the invisible chain to someone else. Keys: taking action. As you contemplate your own generational challenges, consider the following actionable steps. 1. Self-education. Invest in knowledge that pertains to your generational challenge. Whether it's financial literacy, health, or relationships, seek information that can empower you. 2. Seek a support network. Surround yourself with individuals who have successfully navigated similar curses. Their experiences and guidance can be invaluable. 3. Mindful assessment. When faced with adversity, take a step back. Assess the situation objectively and consider how your newfound knowledge and support can guide you toward a different outcome. 4. Take incremental steps. Remember that change doesn't happen overnight. Kevin's journey was a gradual process. Start with small actions and build momentum over time. Curses are like processions. They march through the generations until someone steps out of line and says, "No more." Donnie Taylor. Chapter 6. Childhood wasn't better. It was just different. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that childhood was an idyllic, carefree era where life was nothing short of perfect. After all, who wouldn't want to reminisce about the days when financial responsibilities seemed non-existent and the world felt like an endless playground? But in this chapter, we'll peel back the layers of nostalgia and explore the truth about why childhood wasn't necessarily better. It was just different. Sure, as a child, responsibilities were few and far between. The extent of our duties might have consisted of chores and homework. But compared to the burdens of adulthood, it seemed like a breeze or a golden age. However, let's not forget those moments hidden beneath the rosy tint of memory. Childhood was a world of curfews and rules. It was a time when parents, guardians, or authority figures dictated your every move. Remember the times when you had to rush home before the streetlights came on? Want to go to your best friend's house? Sorry, your mom said no. Want your girlfriend to come over? Sorry, your mom said no, and you had no say in the matter. The freedom and control you yearned for often felt like a distant dream. I remember a particular summer evening when my friends and I planned a sleepover. We had grand ideas of staying up all night, watching movies and sharing secrets. Just as I was packing my bag, my mom announced that I couldn't go because I hadn't finished my homework. The disappointment was crushing, and in that moment, it felt like my world was ending. The rules and limitations of childhood often made us feel powerless, yearning for the freedom that adulthood promised. Understand, childhood may have had its moments of simplicity and joy, but it was also a time of rules and limitations. Adulthood, on the other hand, presents us with a world of opportunities, freedoms, and responsibilities. Personal agency empowers us to make choices that align with our values and dreams. Financial stability, when achieved, opens doors to experiences we once could only dream of. The ability to shape our own future is a gift that adulthood bestows upon us. Yes, adulthood can be challenging, and responsibilities may sometimes seem overwhelming. But it's through these challenges that we grow, learn, and become the architects of our destinies. Life is like a canvas, and adulthood hands us the brush and paint to do what we want when we want. So, let's celebrate the beauty of adulthood, appreciate the freedom to choose, the power to dream, and the capacity to shape our own destinies. The journey continues, and our best days are not behind us. They await us, ready to be painted with the colors of our choices and actions. Keys to success. As we grow older, we gain more control over our lives. This isn't just about responsibilities. It's also about autonomy. The most successful people in life are often those who have mastered the delicate art of balancing responsibilities while retaining the ability to call their own shots. Here are 3 steps to success. 1. Personal agency. Adulthood is the realm where personal agency truly blossoms. It's a time when you're empowered to make decisions that define your life. You choose your career, your relationships, and your passions. This agency allows you to align your life with your values and desires. Unlike childhood, where your choices were often made for you, adulthood offers the liberty to forge your own path. I recall my first job offer after college. the excitement of knowing I could choose where I wanted to work, the freedom to negotiate my salary, and the power to make decisions about my career path were exhilarating. This sense of control and autonomy was a stark contrast to the restrictions of childhood. 2. Financial freedom. One of the most significant shifts in adulthood is gaining control over your financial life. Financial struggles can weigh heavily, but reaching a point of financial stability opens doors to experiences and opportunities that were once out of reach. This financial freedom allows you to pursue your dreams, invest in personal growth, and provide for your loved ones. It's a level of autonomy that simply isn't possible in childhood. I remember the first time I saved enough money to travel abroad. It wasn't just a vacation, it was a symbol of my hard work, financial discipline, and the freedom to explore the world on my terms. This experience was a reminder of the possibilities that financial stability in adulthood can bring. 3. Shaping your own future. Adulthood is a canvas waiting for you to paint your future. You have the ability to set long-term goals, make plans, and take action to achieve them. The decisions you make, whether about education, career, or personal growth, are instrumental in shaping the life you want. Unlike childhood, where your future was a distant concept, adulthood invites you to be an active participant in crafting your destiny. When I decided to pursue a higher degree, it was a choice driven by my passion and career goals. The process of researching programs, applying, and eventually graduating was empowering. It was a testament to my ability to shape my own future through deliberate choices and actions. Conclusion. While childhood had its moments of joy and simplicity, adulthood offers a different kind of fulfillment. The freedom to make choices, the power to achieve financial independence, and the ability to shape our own futures make adulthood a period of growth and opportunity. Let's embrace the journey, celebrate the autonomy we've gained, and look forward to painting our futures with the colors of our dreams and aspirations. In the long run, we shape our lives and we shape ourselves. The process never ends until we die, and the choices we make are ultimately our responsibility. Eleanor Roosevelt. Chapter 7. The Human Ledger. Are they adding, subtracting, or depositing into your life the currency of relationships? Life unfolds as a sequence of transactions where every smile, conversation, and interaction becomes a trade in the currency of emotional and intellectual well-being. Whether we acknowledge it or not, this chapter serves as a navigation tool for the intricate social marketplace where we exchange energy, time, and thoughts through every encounter. Depositors, the bearers of abundance. Depositors are the architects of enrichment in our lives. They are the friends who lend an ear, the mentors who illuminate our path, and the strangers who offer a kind gesture. Their impact extends beyond mere words. Positive interactions with depositors release serotonin and dopamine, elevating our mood and cognitive functions. These individuals are invaluable, bringing joy and inspiration to our lives. In contrast, withdrawers act as emotional subtractors, depleting our reserves of happiness. Criticism, indifference, and hostility from these negative influences can trigger stress hormones, impacting our well-being. Recognizing and managing these relationships becomes crucial, as they represent debts in our emotional bank that require resolution or release. When faced with negative individuals, it's often worthwhile to distance ourselves, as their primary goal is to spread their negativity. Example: you may have a family member who, despite your love for them, continually belittles your achievements or brings negativity into every interaction. Navigating this can feel like walking a tightrope. balancing compassion with the need to protect your emotional energy. In such cases, setting clear boundaries is an act of self-preservation. Occasional contributors, the unexpected windfalls. Occasional contributors are the serendipitous depositors, appearing fleetingly as benefactors. A passing traveler sharing a life-changing story, a stranger offering advice, or a colleague recommending a book. These interactions can pivot our life direction. Psychologists term them positive life shocks, unforeseen events that bring significant positive changes in personal growth and perspective. Sometimes these contributors are people we only meet once, but whose impact stays with us for years. An encouraging word from someone we barely know can shift our mindset, helping us see a new perspective or make a life-altering decision. These fleeting connections remind us to remain open to unexpected sources of wisdom and kindness. Example: you might recall a moment when a complete stranger gave you a piece of advice that stayed with you, perhaps a comment about following your dreams or an insight into overcoming adversity. These interactions, though brief, can leave a lasting imprint and change the trajectory of our lives. In the story below, you'll have a better understanding of this topic. The story of Maya Angelou and Oprah Winfrey. When Oprah was still in her early career, she found herself drawn to Angelou's wisdom and life experiences. Angelou, who had already navigated the challenges of being a black woman in a world filled with adversity, immediately saw Oprah's potential, offering her guidance both professionally and personally. This initial connection soon blossomed into a close, lifelong relationship that Oprah often describes as one of the most significant in her life. Angelou provided more than just advice on career decisions. She imparted lessons on life, love, forgiveness, and resilience. One particularly powerful moment came when Oprah was dealing with betrayal and disappointment from people she trusted. Instead of offering sympathy alone, Angelou gave her a piece of advice that would profoundly shape her worldview. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. This wisdom became a cornerstone of Oprah's personal and professional decision-making, guiding her through countless challenges. Maya Angelou wasn't just a mentor, she was a depositor in Oprah's life. Her influence wasn't limited to occasional advice, but extended to a consistent flow of support, empowerment, and inspiration. She infused Oprah with the confidence and perspective needed to navigate the complexities of life and fame, offering emotional and intellectual deposits that enriched Oprah's spirit. In the context of the human ledger, Maya Angelou serves as a prime example of a depositor who added immense value to Oprah's life, not just through words of wisdom, but through her very presence and nurturing spirit. Their relationship underscores the power of having someone in your life who can help you see your worth, guide you through adversity, and encourage you to keep striving for greatness. Understand, wisdom lies in identifying and nurturing relationships with depositors, individuals who enrich our experiences, support our growth, and contribute positively to our well-being. Simultaneously, it's crucial to recognize and distance ourselves from subtractors, those who drain our energy or negatively affect our emotional state. Keys: how to identify depositors versus withdrawers. First, emotional check-in. After spending time with someone, take a moment to reflect on how you feel. Are you energized, motivated, or uplifted? If so, this person is likely a depositor. On the other hand, if you feel drained, anxious, or emotionally depleted, that person may be a withdrawer. Example: think about a recent lunch with a friend. Did you leave feeling lighter, inspired to take on new challenges? Or did you find yourself ruminating over negative comments they made? Your emotional response is a strong indicator of the type of relationship you have. 2. Consistency in behavior. Depositor relationships often feature consistency in support and positivity, even during difficult times. Withdrawers, however, may be inconsistent. Sometimes they offer support, but more frequently leave you feeling drained or undervalued. Example: a coworker may occasionally provide helpful feedback, but if most of your interactions involve them complaining or criticizing, they may ultimately be a withdrawer despite the rare positive moments. 3. Reciprocity in giving. Pay attention to whether there is a balanced exchange of support in your relationships. Depositors naturally give and receive with ease, while withdrawers tend to consistently take more than they give. Example: you're always there to listen to your friends' issues, but they rarely ask how you're doing or offer emotional support when you need it. This imbalance suggests a withdrawal relationship. Practical strategies for managing relationships. 1. Setting boundaries with withdrawers. It's crucial to protect your emotional energy by setting clear boundaries. Limit the amount of time and attention you give to withdrawers. Politely excuse yourself from conversations that veer into negativity, and don't feel obligated to engage in every interaction. If a conversation turns negative, you can redirect the topic or end the interaction by saying, "I understand you're frustrated, but I need to step away from this discussion right now." 2. Cultivating depositor. Intentionally spend more time with people who bring out the best in you. Depositors often share your values and are genuinely interested in your growth. Make time to nurture these relationships through regular check-ins, thoughtful gestures, or shared experiences. Action step. Schedule regular coffee dates with a friend who always makes you feel inspired, or send a note of appreciation to a mentor who has impacted your life. Make these small investments to maintain these connections. 3. Be open to occasional contributors. Remain open to the unexpected encounters that can serve as positive life shocks. These brief interactions can provide unexpected insight or emotional support. Even if they're fleeting, occasional contributors can have a lasting impact. Action step. If someone unexpectedly shares a valuable piece of advice, take the time to reflect on it. Jot down their words in a journal or revisit them later to see how they might apply to your situation. 4. Transitioning out of draining relationships. If a relationship feels overwhelmingly negative or one-sided, it might be time to transition out of it. This doesn't mean you need to end the relationship abruptly, but you can slowly reduce the time and energy you invest. Gradually reduce contact with someone who drains you. If you feel comfortable, express your need for space or a change in the dynamic by saying, "I need to focus on my well-being, and I'm finding our interactions difficult right now." This approach to relationships may seem unconventional, but it transcends a simple pursuit of personal gain, focusing instead on creating a nurturing and supportive environment. Surrounding ourselves with positive influences doesn't just enrich our lives. It also empowers us to make meaningful contributions to others. Just as a smart financial investor seeks out profitable opportunities, strategic relationship management involves investing in connections that yield emotional and mental rewards. Mindful management of our social interactions is key. It means intentionally cultivating relationships with those who add value to our lives, setting boundaries with those who drain our emotional reserves, and staying open to the occasional contributor who may offer unexpected insight. This chapter serves as a guide to help us recognize the inherent value each person brings into our lives. Practicing discernment in social exchanges is essential, as every individual we meet holds the potential to either enhance or diminish our overall happiness. Every day someone good comes into my life, but I nearly notice them. Donnie Taylor. Chapter 8. A deeper look at friendship. The power of words and expectations. Life often has us hanging on the edge when it comes to certain friendships, leading to misunderstandings and conflicts. After much reflection, I realized that many personal relationships falter because of a fundamental question. What do these words mean to us? Words like friendship, love, or even marriage can hold vastly different meanings for different people. Consider the story of Emma and Grace. Emma and Grace had been friends since they were young, their lives intertwined through childhood adventures and teenage drama. They knew each other's secrets, boy crushes, dreams, and fears. Their bond seemed unbreakable. In high school, they were inseparable, always finishing each other's sentences and laughing until their stomachs hurt like most teenage girls. To any outsider, they were like sisters, destined to be friends forever. But as they entered adulthood, their friendship began to slowly drift apart. They went to different colleges in different cities, but that wasn't the problem. They kept in touch over video calls, long texts, and even weekend visits. The real trouble began the day Emma needed Grace the most. Emma had just lost her job. It was a sudden blow. One day, she was working hard to climb the corporate ladder, and the next, she was staring at a severance package and an empty office. She felt lost and scared, unsure of what to do next. Emma had always believed that Grace would be there for her in times like this, offering the comfort and support she desperately needed. So Emma reached out to Grace, expecting her friend to rush to her side. She texted Grace about the news, hoping for a comforting reply or, better yet, a call. But Grace's response was a brief text. "Sorry to hear that. Hang in there. Let's catch up later this week." Emma was stunned. Her heart sank. Was this all her best friend had to say? She waited, hoping for a follow-up text, maybe a call, but nothing came. The days went by, and Grace seemed too busy with her own life. Her new job, new friends, and new city. Emma felt hurt, betrayed even. She had always seen their friendship as something akin to family, a bond where they would drop everything for each other. How could Grace not understand how much she needed her at that moment? Emma's disappointment grew into resentment. She stopped reaching out, convinced that Grace no longer cared about her the way she once did. She felt that their friendship, which she had always believed was like family, was now a one-sided affair. Grace, meanwhile, noticed the growing distance and felt confused. She didn't understand what had gone wrong. Months later, after countless missed calls and ignored messages, Grace finally decided to confront Emma. They met at a quiet cafe, the air thick with tension. Grace's face was filled with concern as she asked, "Emma, what's going on? You've been distant for months. Did I do something wrong?" Emma's emotions spilled out. "Grace, when I lost my job, I needed you. I needed you to be there, to listen, to just care. But you didn't. It felt like you didn't even want to be my friend anymore." Grace looked genuinely hurt. "Emma, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you felt that way. But I was going through so much myself, my new job, settling into a new city. I thought a quick message would show I cared, but I guess I didn't realize how much you needed me. For me, friendship has always been about giving each other space when life gets chaotic. I thought that's what you needed too." Emma sat back, taken aback by Grace's honesty. In that moment, she realized something crucial. They had never actually talked about what friendship meant to each of them. To Emma, friendship meant being there. no matter what, like family. To Grace, it was about understanding and giving each other the space to navigate their own lives. They had both assumed the other felt the same way, but they were wrong. They sat in silence for a moment, both reflecting on the weight of their unspoken expectations. Emma spoke first. "I guess I never asked you what friendship meant to you, and I just assumed you would think like me." Grace nodded, her eyes softening. "And I did the same. I'm sorry if I made you feel abandoned. That was never my intention." They realized that their definitions of friendship were different, but that didn't mean they couldn't still be friends. They decided to start fresh by understanding each other better. They talked for hours that day, asking questions they'd never thought to ask, like, "What does support look like for you?" And "How do you know when a friend needs you?" As they left the cafe, they hugged, feeling the weight of their misunderstandings lift. They knew their friendship would require more effort and more open communication, but they were willing to put in the work. For the first time, they truly understood each other's needs. The lessons from Emma and Grace. Emma and Grace's story reveals a common but often overlooked issue in relationships: the assumptions we make about the meanings of the words we use. Words like friendship are loaded with personal meaning, shaped by our experiences, expectations, and values. When these meanings differ, as they did for Emma and Grace, misunderstandings and hurt feelings are almost inevitable. This brings us to a fundamental realization. Many personal relationships falter because we never stop to ask the essential question, "What does this word mean to you?" We often assume that our definitions are universal, but as Emma and Grace learned, this is far from true. For Emma, friendship was like family, a bond that demanded unwavering support in any circumstance. For Grace, friendship was a safe harbor that allowed each person the space to handle their struggles independently. Both definitions are valid, but without understanding each other's perspectives, their friendship nearly fell apart. How many of our own relationships suffer from similar misunderstandings? How often do we feel hurt or disappointed because we assumed someone shared our definition of a word or concept without ever asking them? Understand. Words carry different meanings for different people. That's why it's essential to ask, "What does this word mean to you?" Whether it's love, care, friendship, or promises, understanding the unique definitions people attach to these terms can prevent countless misunderstandings. Perspectives are as diverse as the people who hold them. For one person, love might mean unwavering devotion, while for another, it signifies a more measured form of affection. Caring might involve dropping everything to be there for someone, whereas, to someone else, it might mean offering support in a more reserved way. Promises can range from solemn commitments to more flexible intentions. Knowing these differences is the first step toward smoother, more harmonious relationships. Emma and Grace's story reveals a critical lesson. We often assume that others understand words like friendship in the same way we do. These assumptions can lead to misunderstandings and pain. But by taking the time to clarify what these terms mean to each of us, we can prevent many of the conflicts that arise from differing expectations. Keys to action. How to bridge the gap in your relationships. To avoid misunderstandings and to build deeper, more meaningful connections, consider the following strategies. 1. Cultivate self-awareness. Understand your communication style, emotional needs, and boundaries. Self-awareness helps you articulate your needs and expectations clearly, reducing the chances of misunderstandings. Reflect on how your words and actions may be perceived by others and adjust them to ensure clarity and compassion in your interactions. Just as Emma learned to express her needs more clearly, self-awareness can guide us in our interactions. 2. Enhance your communication skills. Work on both your verbal and nonverbal communication skills. This includes not only how you convey messages, but also how you listen and interpret others' communications accurately. Practice assertiveness while being respectful, expressing your thoughts and feelings clearly without causing misunderstandings. Grace's willingness to confront Emma directly opened the door for honest dialogue, which is a key aspect of effective communication. 3. Establish regular check-ins. Make it a habit to regularly check in with friends and loved ones about your relationship. These check-ins can be informal and serve as opportunities to discuss any concerns, adjust expectations, and affirm your appreciation for each other. Regular check-ins help address small issues before they escalate. Think of these conversations as a way to recalibrate, just like Emma and Grace did over coffee. 4. Educate yourself on emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, EI, is crucial for managing social interactions effectively. By improving your EI, you can better understand and manage your own emotions while empathizing with others. This understanding fosters a deeper connection and awareness of each other's emotional states, preventing misunderstandings. High EI can help you recognize when someone might feel hurt or misunderstood, even if they haven't said it directly. 5. Embrace the value of apologies and forgiveness. Recognize that misunderstandings can still occur despite your best efforts. When they do, be quick to offer a sincere apology if you've contributed to the issue, and be open to forgiving others. Apologies and forgiveness are powerful tools for mending misunderstandings and healing relationships, ensuring minor issues don't become lasting grievances. As in the story of Emma and Grace, an apology opened the door to a renewed and more honest friendship. Conclusion: a journey toward empathy. By implementing these strategies, you can significantly reduce misunderstandings and enhance the quality of your relationships, fostering deeper connections and mutual respect. Understanding the multifaceted nature of words like friendship is a journey toward empathy. It acknowledges that we all bring unique narratives to the table. By actively seeking to understand what these words mean to others, we pave the way for deeper connections, fewer misunderstandings, and a world where friendship, in all its beautiful diversity, can thrive. It's not about finding friends who perfectly match your definitions, but about understanding where those definitions diverge and how to navigate those differences with empathy and respect. Friendships, like all relationships, are dynamic and require constant reflection, communication, and care. Friendship is born at that moment when one person says to another, "What? You too? I thought I was the only one." C.S. Lewis. Chapter 9. 80% of your problems are not yours. Have you ever stopped to consider how many of the problems weighing you down are actually yours? What if most of your stress, frustration, and anxiety aren't a reflection of your own actions, but of external pressures? Imagine the relief of recognizing that the weight you're carrying doesn't belong to you. By shedding the burden of others' problems, you can free up mental space for your own growth, clarity, and peace. Take Jane, for example. She's excellent at her job, consistently meeting her targets. Yet, she feels overwhelmed by last-minute demands from her boss, silent competition with colleagues, and the constant juggling of deadlines. She often asks herself, "Why am I always drowning in other people's expectations?" Jane's stress doesn't come from a lack of skill or effort. It stems from external pressures, the demands and expectations she can't fully control. What if Jane could protect her peace from these external forces by setting clearer boundaries? The power of internal control. Now, let's turn inward. Inside your mind lies your true power, the ability to control your thoughts and perceptions. Only about 20% of your struggles come from internal sources, such as self-doubt or negative self-talk. Though this percentage is smaller, its impact can be significant. Mastering your thoughts is one of the most powerful ways to reshape your reality. Imagine standing in front of a mirror each morning, but instead of seeing your reflection, you hear your thoughts. Are they supportive or critical, encouraging or undermining? This inner critic can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Gaining control over this internal dialogue can change everything. Example: the inner critic. Take Mark, a talented artist. Every time he picks up a brush, his mind fills with self-doubt. Is this even good enough? People will see right through this, he thinks, despite receiving praise from others. Mark's struggle isn't external, it's internal. His inner critic is amplifying his anxiety, and that's something he can control. Many of us don't realize the power of our inner dialogue because it feels automatic, but recognizing it gives us the opportunity to reshape it, and in doing so, we reclaim control over our minds and our lives. Balancing external expectations and internal boundaries. External and internal stressors often feed off each other. External pressures, like work or family demands, trigger internal responses such as guilt or insecurity, which in turn magnify the impact of those pressures. It's a feedback loop that leaves you feeling overwhelmed. But external pressures don't just stay in your mind, they can manifest in your actions. The weight of external demands, expectations, and stresses often pushes people to unhealthy coping mechanisms like drinking, smoking, or drug use. When you feel powerless against these external forces, you may turn to substances as a way to numb the anxiety or escape the pressure. This becomes a dangerous cycle. The more you rely on these crutches, the less control you feel over your life, and the deeper the external pressures dig into your mind. Example: the family obligation. Take Sarah. She loves her family, but between her demanding job and constant family requests for help, she feels stretched too thin. Sarah's stress stems from the external demands placed on her, but internally she feels guilty about setting boundaries. This guilt creates a feedback loop, intensifying her stress. As her stress builds, Sarah might find herself reaching for a glass of wine each night to relax or smoking to unwind after a long day. The external world will always exert pressure, and it's easy to fall into unhealthy habits when you feel overwhelmed. But how we respond internally determines how much it affects us. Setting internal boundaries is just as important as setting external ones. The dichotomy of control. The Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control divides problems into two categories: things we can control, our thoughts, actions, and responses, and things we cannot, other people's opinions, random events, or societal pressures. This distinction is crucial. The external 80%, the actions and expectations of others, are beyond our control. But the internal 20%, our mindset, reactions, and choices, belongs entirely to us. By mastering this internal realm, we can reduce the impact of the external 80%. You can't change the storm, but you can choose how to face it. The science behind the 80-20 rule. New research shows that much of our stress is triggered by external forces. According to the American Psychological Association, APA, 75% of respondents identify external factors, such as work, family, and finances, as their main sources of stress. But here's the key: it's not the event itself that causes stress, it's how we interpret it. Two people can experience the same stressful event, yet one may see it as a challenge while the other views it as an insurmountable obstacle. This difference, the internal lens, is where your power lies. You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Keys to managing the 80-20 rule. 1. Identify external stressors. Reflect on what causes you the most stress. Are these things within your control, or are they external pressures you can't change? 2. Set boundaries. Saying no protects your mental and emotional well-being. Remember, saying no to others is often saying yes to yourself. Example: Jane can set limits with her boss, communicating her workload and requesting more realistic timelines. 3. Cultivate internal mastery. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, or journaling help you gain control over your thoughts. These tools create a buffer between external stressors and your internal reaction. Example: Mark could use mindfulness to quiet his inner critic, focusing on the present moment rather than future judgment. 4. Focus on what you can control. When feeling overwhelmed, ask yourself, is this something I can change? If not, let it go. If yes, take action on what you can influence. 5. Reframe external pressures. Stress often comes from how we perceive external demands. Try reframing challenges as opportunities for growth, and notice how this shift changes your response. Understand. Once you begin viewing life through the 80-20 lens, everything changes. You'll recognize that the majority of your stress comes from external forces beyond your control, and you'll start focusing on what you can control: your thoughts, actions, and responses. As Epictetus wisely noted, man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. By focusing on what you can control and letting go of the rest, you'll experience freedom. The external 80% will always exist, but the internal 20%, that's yours to master. Chapter 10. Never allow yourself to procrastinate. If we're honest, how often do you find yourself saying, "I'll do it tomorrow," only to realize that when tomorrow comes, nothing has changed? Procrastination is a silent thief, quietly robbing us of our time, potential, and dreams. It sneaks up on us, whispering comforting lies about how there's always more time. But the truth is, there isn't. Together, let's uncover how procrastination works and how we can break free to achieve our goals. But first, let's define procrastination. Procrastination is the act of unnecessarily and voluntarily delaying or postponing something, despite knowing there could be negative consequences for doing so. It is a common human experience, whether it's delaying chores, putting off a work report, or avoiding a stressful conversation with a partner. Procrastination is often seen as a negative trait due to its hindering effect on productivity and its associations with depression, low self-esteem, guilt, and feelings of inadequacy. Procrastination often starts innocently, with thoughts like, "I'll get to it soon." But each time you defer action, you strengthen a habit of delay. Every decision to wait is like adding another brick to a wall that stands between you and your goals. By deciding to start tasks immediately, we break this cycle and cultivate a mindset of action. Consider Jane, a university student, who found herself in a familiar trap. Every evening she promised herself she'd start studying for her finals tomorrow. Tomorrow came and went, and so did the next day and the next. The books stayed closed. As the exams loomed closer, a sense of dread filled her, like a storm gathering on the horizon. She felt the weight of all the unread chapters pressing down on her, the anxiety gnawing at her every waking moment. Her grades suffered, and so did her confidence. Jane realized that her habit of postponing was costing her dearly. Determined to change, she began tackling her study sessions immediately, breaking down overwhelming tasks into smaller, manageable parts, and following a strict schedule. By the end of the next semester, her grades had improved, and she felt a newfound sense of control over her life. Paul, a budding entrepreneur, had a brilliant idea for a startup. His mind buzzed with excitement and visions of success, but every day he thought, "I'll write that business plan soon." Days turned into weeks and then into months. As he watched competitors bring similar ideas to market, a cold panic set in. His great idea was slipping away, not because of a lack of potential, but because of a lack of action. Realizing the cost of his hesitation, Paul decided to act immediately. He set clear, achievable goals, created a detailed schedule, and stuck to it with determination. Within a year, his startup was successfully up and running, proving to himself that immediate action could indeed transform dreams into reality. Sarah, a writer with a burning desire to publish her first novel, constantly postponed writing, waiting for the perfect moment of inspiration. Her dream was vivid. She could almost feel the weight of the finished book in her hands. Yet days, months, and eventually years went by, and her manuscript remained unfinished. The dream that had once filled her with excitement now began to feel like a burden, a source of frustration and regret. One day, after attending a writing workshop, Sarah realized that waiting for inspiration was just another form of procrastination. She committed to writing for 30 minutes every day, no matter how uninspired she felt. Little by little, page by page, her novel took shape. Within a year, she completed her manuscript and started the journey toward finding a publisher. Her daily commitment turned her dream into a tangible achievement. Do you see the pattern here? When you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," you condition your mind to delay again. Keeping momentum means beginning the next task as soon as you finish the current one. Think of the high school graduates who decide to take a year off before starting college. How many actually return? Rarely do they make it back. Delaying their education often leads to a halt in their progress. The goal should be to eliminate the very option of procrastination from your life. The science behind procrastination. Research by psychologists like Dr. Timothy Peichel at Carleton University reveals that procrastination is often a way to avoid negative emotions such as boredom, frustration, or anxiety. We put off tasks not because they are hard, but because they are emotionally uncomfortable. Understanding this helps us recognize our emotional triggers and manage our responses to overcome procrastination. The famous marshmallow experiment by Walter Mischel at Stanford University illustrates the power of delaying gratification. Children who resisted the immediate temptation of eating a marshmallow and waited for a second one demonstrated better life outcomes years later. This experiment underscores the importance of self-discipline and immediate action in achieving long-term success. Dr. Piers Steel, in his book, The Procrastination Equation, explains that procrastination is influenced by factors like expectancy, value, impulsiveness, and delay. By increasing our confidence in success, expectancy, and our appreciation for the task's value while reducing impulsiveness and delay, we can significantly reduce procrastination. Understand. When we push off tasks we could do today, we program our minds not to act on future intentions. By recognizing and addressing our emotional responses, practicing self-discipline, and changing how we perceive tasks, we can break the habit of procrastination and develop a mindset focused on immediate action. Keys to preventing procrastination. 1. Set clear, achievable goals. Break tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Clear goals make tasks feel less overwhelming and more approachable. 2. Prioritize task. Focus on the most important task first. Use tools like the Eisenhower matrix to differentiate between urgent and important tasks, ensuring you tackle high-priority tasks promptly. 3. Create a schedule. Develop a daily or weekly schedule with dedicated time slots for specific tasks. Consistency is key. Stick to your schedule. 4. Eliminate distractions. Identify and remove distractions from your environment, whether it's turning off notifications or finding a quiet space to work. 5. Use the Pomodoro technique. Work in short, focused intervals, 25 minutes, followed by a short break, 5 minutes. After 4 intervals, take a longer break. This method helps maintain focus and prevent burnout. 6. Reward yourself. Establish a system of rewards for completing tasks. Small rewards, like a walk, a favorite treat, or some relaxation time, can motivate continued productivity. Think about professional athletes. They don't wait for the perfect moment to train or for inspiration to strike. They train daily, pushing through fatigue and discomfort, understanding that consistent effort is the key to peak performance. This same mindset can be applied to our daily task and long-term aspirations. Immediate action, not waiting for the right moment, is what moves us closer to our goals. Time to reflect and act. Identify one task you've been postponing. Start it now, even if it's just a small step. Feel the satisfaction of getting started. Reflect on how you feel when you delay task. Are you feeling anxious, bored, or overwhelmed? Acknowledge these feelings and think of proactive ways to manage them. Set a specific goal for today. Write it down and commit to completing it before the day ends. Notice how this commitment feels and how it influences your actions. By applying these strategies and understanding the psychology behind procrastination, we can build habits of prompt action and continuous progress. Remember, the goal is to act today, not tomorrow. Procrastination may feel like a comfortable choice, but it's a trap that holds us back from growth. Break free by taking those small, immediate steps. Your future success hinges on the actions you take now. Don't let procrastination rob you of your potential. Begin today. Identify one task you've been putting off and start it. Your future self will thank you. You may delay, but time will not. Benjamin Franklin. Chapter 11. Age doesn't determine success, time does. Have you ever wondered why we are in such a rush to succeed by a certain age? Society often imposes a timeline for achieving major life milestones, like building a successful career by 30, getting married by 35, or becoming financially stable by 40. But what happens when life doesn't follow this expected path? How do we feel when our timeline doesn't match society's expectations? For many, the answer is anxiety, stress, and feelings of inadequacy. We've been conditioned to believe that success must happen by a certain age. But what if we stopped fixating on age and focused on time instead? Success and growth don't come with a deadline. They happen differently for everyone. The pressure to achieve certain goals by specific ages can harm our mental health and self-esteem, making us feel like failures if we don't measure up. Yet, when we view success as a journey, rather than a series of age-related checkpoints, we develop resilience and find fulfillment in our achievements, no matter when they occur. This shift in perspective emphasizes experiences, learning, and personal development over simply reaching goals within a certain age bracket. It encourages us to embrace the journey, recognizing that valuable lessons and accomplishments can come at any stage of life. Success, after all, is about personal fulfillment, not meeting society's arbitrary expectations. Consider these two diverse stories of people who found major success at a time most would consider late in their lives. Morgan Freeman's path to fame was neither quick nor straightforward. Born in 1937 in Memphis, Tennessee, Freeman discovered his love for acting early in life, performing in school plays, and winning a statewide drama competition at the age of 12. Despite his early passion, his journey to success was filled with obstacles. Freeman's career started with years of small roles in theater productions and television, including a job as a dancer at the 1964 World's Fair and a stint on the children's TV show The Electric Company in the 1970s. For many years, he was cast in minor roles that barely showcased his talents. Despite his undeniable ability, he struggled to break into more significant roles, finding himself typecast and limited in his opportunities. Freeman's breakthrough did not come until the 1980s, when he was nearly 50. His performance as a bitter hustler in the film Street Smart, 1987, earned him his first Oscar nomination, and roles in films like Driving Miss Daisy, 1989, and Glory, 1989, finally put him in the spotlight. However, it was not until his role in The Shawshank Redemption, 1994, that he became a household name, earning global recognition for his powerful performance. Even after this success, Freeman continued to face challenges and worked tirelessly to prove himself in a competitive industry. His story demonstrates that sometimes success takes time and arrives only after years of persistence, hard work, and perseverance. Freeman's talent, coupled with his patience and dedication, eventually made him one of the most respected and versatile actors in the film industry, showing that age is irrelevant when pursuing one's passion. In 1928, at the age of 42, Anna Robertson Moses, known as Grandma Moses, began her art career. Raised on a farm in New York, she had always loved art as a child, but only pursued it seriously later in life. She focused on raising a family and managing the farm until arthritis made it difficult to embroider, prompting her to turn to painting. With no formal training, she taught herself using inexpensive materials at home. Despite starting late in life, as many might perceive, Moses was determined to share her perspective. She painted rural scenes, capturing the charm of farm life and her childhood memories. Her simple yet charming style of art won over many hearts. In 1938, at the age of 78, Moses gained fame when a New York City art collector discovered her work, after which she became highly celebrated. She became one of America's beloved folk artists. Despite achieving fame late in life, Grandma Moses painted until her 90s, remaining true to her vision and never giving up. Her paintings celebrated and represented everyday life with sincerity and warmth. Understand, life has a way of throwing us off course with its twists and turns when it comes to time, situations, and other people. However, by staying focused on our vision and prioritizing life goals over age-specific goals, we can navigate these challenges with ease. These stories show us that it's never too late to pursue passions and succeed. With dedication and following your heart, anything is possible, regardless of your age. This narrative exemplifies that success can come at any time. Keys to transitioning toward life goals. Step 1. Define your values. Identify what truly matters to you. Knowing your core values helps you set goals aligned with your authentic self, making the pursuit more meaningful. Step 2. Break down your goals. Transform big dreams into smaller, manageable steps. This approach reduces overwhelm and keeps you motivated as you achieve each milestone. Step 3. Focus on continuous learning. Commit to lifelong learning and self-improvement. Stay adaptable, understanding that goals may need to evolve as you grow and as circumstances change. By letting go of the pressure to achieve by a certain age and focusing on growth over a lifetime, we reduce stress and cultivate a healthier mindset. Let's rethink age-based goals and channel our energy toward what we genuinely want to accomplish on this earth. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. Chapter 12. Think it, believe it, do it. Since you're reading this, do you ever recall second-guessing your abilities? If so, you're not alone. In the journey of personal development, many of us struggle with self-doubt and uncertainty. But what if the key to overcoming these doubts lies in 3 simple steps: thinking, believing, and doing? This chapter explores how our thoughts, beliefs, and actions intertwine to shape our reality, and how mastering this synergy can help us achieve our goals. The power of thought. Our thoughts are like seeds. They have the potential to grow into reality. Cognitive psychology reveals that our thinking patterns are not just reflections of our inner world, but active creators of our external experiences. Techniques like positive thinking, visualization, and affirmations can channel our mental energy towards achieving our goals. When we consistently focus on constructive and empowering thoughts, we are building a solid mental foundation for success. The placebo effect is a powerful example of this phenomenon in medicine. Patients experience genuine improvements simply because they believe they are receiving treatment. This illustrates how the mind can physically alter reality. Imagine the possibilities when we apply the same mental focus to our ambitions. If our thoughts can heal, they can also elevate us to new heights. Belief, the bridge between thought and action. Belief is the bridge that connects our thoughts to our actions. It is the force that fuels us to move forward, even when the path is uncertain. Research in psychology, particularly studies on self-efficacy by Albert Bandura, shows that belief in our abilities significantly increases our chances of success. When we believe in ourselves, we are more likely to take calculated risks, persist in the face of challenges, and ultimately achieve our goals. Thomas Edison, who faced thousands of failures before inventing the light bulb, exemplifies the power of unwavering belief. His refusal to see his repeated attempts as failures, but rather as steps toward success, shows how a strong belief system can transform obstacles into stepping stones. To build self-belief, we need to challenge limiting thoughts, celebrate small victories, and surround ourselves with people who uplift us. Psychological techniques like cognitive restructuring and self-affirmation can reinforce these beliefs. Action. Turning belief into reality. Belief without action is like a ship without a sail. It goes nowhere. To turn our dreams into reality, we must take consistent, deliberate steps toward them. This involves setting clear, achievable goals, breaking them down into manageable tasks, and maintaining discipline and persistence. Applying the SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound to ensure that our actions are in alignment with our beliefs and thoughts, leading to real, tangible results. Consider J.K. Rowling, who faced rejection from multiple publishers before her. Harry Potter series became a global sensation. Her story illustrates how belief, combined with relentless action, turns dreams into achievements. Just believe you can do it. The story of Ada Lovelace. Ada Lovelace, the visionary mathematician who worked with Charles Babbage on the analytical engine, embodies the power of thinking, believing, and doing. Born in 1815, Ada saw beyond the conventional view of the machine as merely a calculator. She envisioned it as a device capable of processing symbols, like music or text, an idea that laid the foundation for modern computing. Despite skepticism from her peers, Ada passionately pursued her vision, developing algorithms and articulating groundbreaking concepts. Her steadfast belief in the potential of the analytical engine drove her to create what is now considered one of the earliest forms of computer programming. Even though she never saw her ideas fully realized in her lifetime, Ada's story stands as a powerful testament to the transformative power of thinking, believing, and doing. Aligning thoughts, beliefs, and actions. When our thoughts, beliefs, and actions align, they create a powerful synergy that accelerates our progress. This alignment helps us stay focused, resilient, and motivated. Research shows that individuals who align their intentions with their actions are more likely to achieve their goals and maintain long-term satisfaction. To maintain this alignment, regularly review your goals, adjust your strategies, and practice mindfulness and self-reflection. These practices ensure your actions remain purposeful and in tune with your deepest beliefs. Picture yourself as a car driving toward a destination. The fuel is your empowerment and determination. The bumps in the road? They are not obstacles, but lessons that shape your journey. Every challenge, no matter how daunting, becomes an essential part of your growth. Remember, we only have one life to live, so transform your thoughts into actions and make it count. 5 keys to overcoming struggles. 1. Self-resilience. Embrace setbacks as natural parts of the journey. Develop the psychological flexibility to bounce back stronger from difficulties. Practice self-compassion and patience with yourself, knowing that every setback is a setup for a comeback. 2. Cultivate a growth mindset. View challenges as opportunities to grow rather than threats. Focus on progress, not perfection. Recognize that learning is a continuous process. Treat mistakes as valuable lessons, not failures. 3. Surround yourself with positivity. Build a support network of encouraging, growth-oriented individuals. Distance yourself from negativity and those who drain your energy. Engage in activities that inspire you and cultivate joy. 4. Maintain consistent action. Break down your goals into small, manageable steps to avoid being overwhelmed. Establish daily routines that align with your objectives and help build momentum. Stay disciplined and committed, even when motivation is low, knowing that consistency is key to success. 5. Practice mindfulness and self-reflection. Regularly reflect on your thoughts, feelings, and actions to gain insight and clarity. Use mindfulness techniques like deep breathing or meditation to stay present and focused. Journaling can help you track progress, identify patterns, and adjust your course as needed. Conclusion. Thinking, believing, and doing are the pillars of achieving your dreams. By cultivating positive thoughts, reinforcing your beliefs, and taking consistent, purposeful action, you turn aspirations into reality. Embrace this triad as your guide on the journey to success. Remember, what you think, you become. What you believe, you achieve. And what you do, you create. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Henry Ford. Chapter 13. Building Strength Through Struggles. Have you ever faced a challenge so tough that you questioned if you could push through? We all have. Life throws obstacles at us, testing our patience, resilience, and determination. But what if those very struggles were the keys to building your inner strength? We will come across situations that test us, challenge us, and push us to our limits. It's during these times of struggle that we have the incredible opportunity to build our inner strength. In this chapter, we'll explore how these trials, whether physical, emotional, or practical, can shape you into a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Gym and muscles. Picture yourself in a gym, lifting weights that seem almost too heavy to handle. Each repetition feels like a battle, but it's precisely these struggles that help your muscles grow stronger. It's a reminder that when you're striving to be your best physically, the road to strength is paved with sweat and determination. Learning to walk. Think back to your earliest memories of learning to walk. Those wobbly steps and countless falls might have been frustrating, but they were your first steps towards independence. Those struggles helped you develop balance, coordination, and resilience, skills that have stayed with you throughout life. Relationships and bonds. Every friendship and family bond has its ups and downs. Arguments, disagreements, and misunderstandings are part of the journey. However, it's how we navigate these challenges and work through them that truly strengthens our relationships. Through the struggles, we learn to communicate better, empathize, and forgive one another. Managing house rentals. Dealing with issues in a rented home can be a real headache. Leaky pipes, broken appliances, and unexpected surprises can test your patience and problem-solving skills. Yet, through these trials, you become a more capable and resourceful individual, mastering the art of managing a household and knowing the problems that come along with rental issues in the near future. Academic challenges. In school, you're bound to face subjects or topics that feel like a puzzle you can't solve. It's in these moments of academic struggle that your mental resilience is put to the test. Overcoming these challenges doesn't just lead to better grades, it fosters a growth mindset and a love for learning forever. Understand, life is a continuous journey filled with challenges and setbacks. Every disappointment, failure, or obstacle you face serves as an opportunity for personal growth. But beyond that, it's within the emotional struggles, the moments when self-doubt, fear, or frustration arise, that true resilience is cultivated through those times. For example, consider the emotional toll of losing a job or ending a long-term relationship. Initially, the feelings of failure or rejection may overwhelm you, but by taking time to process these emotions, you begin to understand their deeper meaning. This self-reflection helps you recognize your ability to survive and adapt. Each step forward builds a foundation of inner strength. When you approach life's struggles directly, like a bull charging into battle, you don't avoid hardship, but embrace it as a learning experience. Whether you're navigating a career setback or managing a strained personal relationship, these challenges test your resolve. However, if you shift your perspective and see each struggle as a chance to grow, you build not just emotional resilience but deeper self-awareness. You begin to understand your triggers, strengths, and boundaries. It is through meeting challenges head-on that true personal growth occurs. Not by avoiding difficulties, but by confronting them with courage. In doing so, you emerge not only stronger but wiser, equipped with the knowledge and emotional maturity to handle future trials with confidence. Keys to building strength through struggles. 1. Acknowledge challenges. Take a moment to recognize and acknowledge the challenges you're facing. It's okay. This is the first step toward growth. 2. Shift your mindset. Now, Let's work on changing your mindset. Instead of seeing these challenges as roadblocks, consider them opportunities for personal development. You've got the potential for strength and resilience within you. 3. Set meaningful goals. Think about what you want to achieve through these challenges. Set some realistic and meaningful goals that align with your journey. 4. Break down goals. Don't overwhelm yourself. Break those larger goals into smaller, manageable tasks. It's about making progress one step at a time. 5. Cultivate resilience. Develop resilience by viewing setbacks as temporary, essential lessons. Every challenge faced is a moment to learn and improve. 6. Seek support. Don't hesitate to reach out for support. Friends, family, or mentors can provide encouragement and valuable perspectives during tough times. 7. Learn from setbacks. When things don't go as planned, look at it as a chance to learn. What went wrong? How can you use these setbacks to grow? 8. Foster self-compassion. Be kind to yourself during challenging moments. It's okay to make mistakes. They're part of your growth journey. 9. Embrace continuous learning. Fall in love with learning, not just from overcoming challenges, but from gaining new knowledge and skills along the way. 10. Celebrate achievements. Celebrate every victory, no matter how small. It's these victories that will keep you motivated and moving forward. 11th. Encourage reflection. Take some time to reflect regularly. What have you learned? How have you grown? Reflection enhances your self-awareness and mindfulness. 12. Maintain an optimistic perspective. Keep that positive outlook. See challenges as chances to become not just stronger but wiser too. Optimism is a powerful tool in overcoming adversity. 13. Embrace the journey. Remember, it's not just about reaching the destination. It's about embracing the entire journey, challenges and all. Each hurdle is a chance to become a better version of yourself. As you read through this chapter, I hope you've reflected on the struggles you've faced and those you might encounter in the future. Embrace them as opportunities to build strength, grow as an individual, and become better equipped to navigate the journey of life. Remember, it is through building strength in the face of struggles that we discover our true potential. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. Chapter 14. Uncontrollable Habits. Gaining mastery over your actions. Do you ever feel like your habits are controlling you instead of the other way around? Our daily habits play a central role in shaping our productivity, health, and happiness. The conventional approach to bad habits is often outright cessation, which may seem simple. However, what if we shifted our perspective to prioritize gaining control rather than just outright quitting? This shift opens a gateway to a more balanced life. Moderation becomes the key, a golden middle path that allows for the enjoyment of life's pleasures without excess. Whether it's indulging in a social drink, delighting in an occasional shopping spree, or engaging in various activities, including sexual pleasures. What distinguishes these actions is the element of control. This control enables individuals to partake in these activities responsibly, ensuring that enjoyment does not cross into overindulgence. The core problem with habits lies not in the activity itself, but in how that activity starts to control us. When any action is performed excessively or without restraint, it can negatively impact our well-being. This brings us to a crucial realization. The solution to problematic habits isn't always outright quitting, but rather regaining control over them. Why is control so vital to us? As human beings, we have an intrinsic desire for control in our lives. It's part of our natural inclination toward autonomy and self-determination. When we actively choose our actions, rather than feeling driven or controlled by our urges, our motivation and commitment to change become much stronger. This shift from cessation to moderation and control is not just a strategy, but a fundamental alignment with our psychological needs. Habits are not mere behaviors. They are entwined with our emotional and cognitive processes. Often habits serve important roles, such as providing stress relief or a sense of comfort. Understanding these roles is key to finding healthier alternatives that fulfill the same needs without the negative consequences. Gaining control over our habits requires a deeper comprehension of what prompts them. Habits are not formed in a vacuum, but are often triggered by specific cues, emotional states, times of the day, social environments, or particular thought patterns. By recognizing and acknowledging these triggers, individuals can craft strategies to either steer clear of them or address them in healthier ways. It's within this understanding and adaptation that we find the potential for real change. This insight naturally leads to a shift in strategy, focusing not on the complete cessation of a habit, but on moderation and control. Such an approach taps into a core aspect of human psychology, the deep-seated desire for autonomy and the power to make our own choices. The recognition that we can choose our actions rather than being driven by them bolsters our motivation and strengthens our commitment to change. Automatic habits. We perform unconsciously. Automatic responses are performed daily without much thought. Activities such as driving familiar routes home, habitually checking phones, using filler words like or and instinctively locking doors illustrate the domain of unconscious automatic responses. These actions, carried out with little to no conscious effort, highlight the potential of habit formation. By intentionally applying this same framework, we can develop new, beneficial habits to propel personal success. For instance, in making reading a daily habit, intentionally creating a conducive environment, setting a specific time, designating a comfortable reading space, and choosing moments when energy levels are optimal can ensure success. By emulating the automaticity of our ingrained behaviors, we can transform aspirational habits into integral parts of our daily routine, leveraging the power of habit for personal growth. The problem with uncontrolled habits. Uncontrolled habits, when they spiral into excessiveness, can have severe repercussions on our health, relationships, and overall quality of life. The issue isn't the habit itself, but its dominance over our lives. Recognizing the fine line between a habit and an addiction, like going into debt or stealing from family to support that habit, is crucial. The difference between engaging in a habit and being ensnared by it is critical. Let's take a look at Tom's story for a better explanation. Tom, a resident of Elgin, a small town where everyone knows each other, was always the reliable one. His days were spent working hard and his evenings unwinding at Murphy's Tavern, where he'd grab a couple of beers and catch up with friends. At first it was harmless, a few drinks to relax after a long day. But soon, those 2 beers turned into 4, and what started as a quick stop turned into a nightly escape. As the months passed, Tom began to notice changes, not just in himself, but in his life. He saw it in the way Sarah, his wife, looked at him. Her warm, loving gaze was slowly being replaced by worry and frustration. Their son, Jack, stopped asking when they'd go fishing. Tom missed their weekend trips because he was too hungover to get out of bed. Even their dog Buster, once excited to greet him at the door, would wait in vain for Tom's late return. Tom didn't want to admit it, but he felt it too, an unsettling feeling that his life was slipping out of his control. It wasn't just about the beers at Murphy's anymore. It was the creeping realization that he was letting his drinking dictate his days. He missed being present with his family. He missed the hobbies he used to love, like woodworking. One night, after too many drinks at the bar, Tom overheard an older patron, Mr. Johnson, talking to Emily, a new teacher in town. Emily was confiding in Mr. Johnson about her struggles with sugar addiction. "It's not about cutting out sugar completely," Mr. Johnson said. "It's about making sure sugar doesn't control you. You've got to find balance." In that moment, Tom felt like the words were meant for him. The fog of alcohol couldn't dull the sharp sting of the truth. He wasn't in control anymore. He had let drinking become the focus of his life. He wasn't living, he was surviving, day by day, beer by beer. The next morning, Tom woke up with a pounding headache and a heavy heart. Sitting at the kitchen table, staring into his cup of coffee, he made a decision. It wasn't about quitting cold turkey. It was about regaining control. He didn't want to lose his friends or the social connection he had at Murphy's, but he knew he needed boundaries. He set limits. No more than 2 beers per night, no drinking alone, and no more staying out late. The first few weeks were rough. The pull of old habits was strong, and there were nights when Tom found himself slipping. But each time he reminded himself of what mattered. He thought about Sarah and Jack, and about the life he wanted to reclaim. Slowly, things started to change. Sarah noticed that the tiredness in his eyes had lifted. Jack's fishing rod was back by the door, ready for their weekend trips. Buster's tail wagged happily again when Tom came home earlier each night. Tom still went to Murphy's, but now it was different. He was present. He laughed with his friends, had a beer or two, and went home in time to spend the evening with his family. He rediscovered his love for woodworking, his garage now filled with sawdust and the smell of freshly cut wood. Tom's story is a reminder that life is about balance. It's not about giving up the things you love, but about managing them in a way that supports the life you truly want to live. In Elgin, Tom found that real strength lies not in cutting out the things we enjoy, but in finding a way to enjoy them responsibly without losing ourselves. Understand, the moment we realize that stopping something doesn't always bring positive outcomes, we begin to recognize the value of control. It's not always about pushing forward at all costs or forcing yourself to stop, but rather about regaining control as you had in the beginning. For example, at first, you might have been able to have 1 drink and go home, but over time that 1 drink turns into 5 before heading home. Initially, you had the discipline to stop at 1, but eventually the thought became 5 drinks and then go home. And at that point, the urge controlled you. You lost the control you once had, and that's not the way it should be. By not completely stopping, but practicing moderation and maintaining balance, you can regain that control. This approach has always been key to thriving in the human experience. It allows us to conquer the challenges we choose and claim victory in a balanced and meaningful way. Now, let's just think for a moment. The role of self-compassion and support from others. Tom's story also highlights the importance of self-compassion when dealing with setbacks. The path to habit control is rarely linear and often involves some occasional slip-ups. But Tom didn't beat himself up over his mistakes. Instead, He practiced kindness toward himself, recognizing that change takes time and effort. This self-compassion helped him stay committed to his goals, even when the journey got tough. Support from others also played a vital role in Tom's success. His family, who missed the old Tom, became a source of encouragement once they saw his efforts. His friends at Murphy's, who once shared in his late-night habits, respected his decision to set boundaries. Even acquaintances like Emily shared their personal struggles, reminding Tom that he wasn't alone in his journey. This sense of community and the understanding that setbacks are part of progress created a foundation for Tom to rebuild his life in a healthier, more balanced way. Tom's story shows that with self-compassion and a supportive network, even the most ingrained habits can be overcome. Keys to take action. Here are some key steps to help you manage and control your habits. 1. Identify the habit. Clearly define the habit you want to address. Vague ideas won't help as much as pinpointing the specific behavior. 2. Understand the habit loop. Recognize the cue, routine, and reward that drive your habit. Understanding this loop will help you break it. 3. Set clear and achievable goals. Make your goals specific and measurable to hold yourself accountable. 4. Find healthier alternatives. Replace negative habits with positive activities that fulfill the same need. 5. Prepare for triggers. Plan for the situations, emotions, or environments that might prompt the habit and develop strategies to handle them. 6. Implement gradual change. Start small. Gradual change is more sustainable than sudden drastic shifts. 7. Track your progress. Journals or apps can help you stay on track and notice patterns. 8. Seek support. Don't try to do it alone. Friends, family, or professionals can offer valuable support. 9. Practice self-compassion. Understand that setbacks are part of the process. Be kind to yourself. 10. Celebrate small wins. Each milestone, no matter how small, is worth celebrating. 11. Evaluate and adjust. Regularly review your progress and adjust your strategies as needed. By following these steps, you can regain control over your habits and build a more sustainable, fulfilling lifestyle. Conclusion. Take the first step. So, do you feel ready to take control of your habits instead of letting them control you? Tom's story shows us that it's not about being perfect or quitting everything at once. It's about balance, understanding, and self-compassion. Life is meant to be lived fully, but it can only be done when we are in control of our choices. Remember, the journey starts with one small step, deciding to take back control of your life, one habit at a time. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Aristotle. Chapter 15. Meditation and cold showers, enhancing attention and reducing anxiety. What would you do if you could master your response to anxiety with ease? Imagine walking into a room, all eyes on you, and feeling completely in control. Your hands not shaking, your heart not racing, but just calm and confident. For many of us, that seems like a distant reality. But what if I told you there's a method that could help you gain control over how your body responds to anxiety and stress? It may sound simple, but it requires dedication and practice. That's exactly what John discovered when his life took an unexpected turn. The turning point. John had always been known as the steady, reliable one, never the loudest in the room, but always dependable. He had excelled in his previous role, where most of his work was done quietly behind the scenes. But when he was promoted to manager, everything changed. What should have been a proud moment quickly turned into an ongoing nightmare. At his first team meeting, John felt the panic creeping in before he even walked into the room. As he stood in front of his colleagues, his heart pounded so loudly he could barely hear his own voice. His hands trembled, and his mind went completely blank. Every eye in the room felt like a spotlight, burning into him. His usual confidence evaporated, replaced by an overwhelming sense of inadequacy and fear. When the meeting ended, John couldn't escape fast enough. He sat alone in his office, staring at the wall, wondering how he, someone who had always prided himself on being steady and composed, had fallen apart so easily. The experience haunted him. Every team meeting, every public presentation brought a wave of dread. His anxiety became so consuming that he found himself avoiding interactions and shrinking from leadership responsibilities. His dream job was turning into a nightmare, and he felt powerless to stop it. Desperate for change, John spent hours searching for ways to manage his anxiety. That's when he stumbled upon two practices, meditation and cold showers, that promised to help him retrain his nervous system. Though skeptical, John was willing to try anything at that point. He committed to a new method combining brief meditation sessions with daily cold showers. The 25 and 5 method. The cold exposure was brutal at first. His body rebelled, and his mind screamed for him to quit. The initial days were filled with doubt. Could something this uncomfortable really work? But as he stuck with it, something shifted. The shaking stopped. The dread began to fade. John felt more in control, not just in the shower, but in life. When the next team meeting came around, he walked into the room with a new sense of calm. The panic was still there, but this time it didn't overwhelm him. He delivered his points clearly, confidently. The transformation didn't happen overnight, but it was real. Over time, John found that not only did his anxiety decrease, but his focus sharpened, his energy levels soared, and his confidence returned. What had once been a source of dread became manageable, even enjoyable. John's story is a testament to the power of the 25 and 5 method, a simple but effective tool for retraining your nervous system to handle anxiety and stress. The 25/5 method is a step-by-step routine that combines meditation and cold water exposure to prepare your nervous system for handling high-pressure situations. By practicing this regularly, your body will learn to stay calm and collected under stress. Keys to controlling anxiety. Step 1. 5 minutes of meditation. Begin with a 5-minute meditation session. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing. Let your mind settle into the present moment, releasing any anxious or racing thoughts. This simple act of mindfulness primes your nervous system for what's to come. Step 2. The 25-minute cold shower or bath. Next, immerse yourself in a cold shower or bath for 25 minutes. While the idea of enduring cold water may seem daunting, this is where the magic happens. Cold water shocks the system, forcing your body into a stress response. But as you practice, you'll learn to control your breathing and gradually build resilience to discomfort. Step 3. Another 25-minute meditation. After cold exposure, return to your meditation space for another 25-minute session. This deeper meditation helps reinforce the sense of calm and relaxation, allowing your mind to settle after the shock. Focus on your breath, letting thoughts pass without judgment. Step 4. 5 minutes of post-cold meditation conclude with a final 5-minute meditation. Use this time to reflect on your experience, appreciate the sensations in your body, and center yourself. The combination of stress exposure and mental clarity will leave you feeling balanced and empowered. With consistency, the 25 and 5 method helps to rewire your body's response to stress. Over time, you'll find yourself more capable of staying calm and focused in unfamiliar or anxiety-inducing situations, just like John did. The science behind meditation and cold showers. John's story is compelling, but the power of meditation and cold exposure is more than anecdotal. It's backed by science. Here's what research tells us. Meditation and its benefits. Meditation, an ancient practice, has been studied extensively for its ability to reshape the brain and improve mental health. Here's how. 1. Attention and focus. Meditation enhances the prefrontal cortex, the brain's center for attention and executive function. Dr. Sarah Lazar at Harvard Medical School found that consistent mindfulness meditation leads to increased cortical thickness, improving memory, focus, and decision-making. 2. Anxiety reduction. Meditation reduces activity in the amygdala, the brain's fear center. Research from Stanford University shows that mindfulness meditation can help people manage anxiety by calming the amygdala's reactivity, allowing them to face stressors with a clearer mind. 3. Emotional regulation. Regular meditation strengthens the connection between the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala, improving your ability to control emotional responses to stress. This means that over time, your body's natural reaction to anxiety will become less intense, allowing for a calmer response to stressful events. Understand, running from fear may seem like the easy path, but it only deepens its hold on you. By avoiding your fears, you remain trapped within them. Instead, when you actively engage in practices that challenge your nervous system, you begin to unlock a level of control you didn't know you had. Facing discomfort daily allows you to rewire your mind and body, transforming anxiety into strength. Don't run away, run toward it. The impact of cold showers. Cold showers, though initially uncomfortable, offer significant mental and physical benefits. 1. Increased alertness. The shock of cold water activates your sympathetic nervous system, raising your heart rate and boosting blood flow to vital organs. This increased state of alertness primes your body for focus and productivity throughout the day. 2. Stress adaptation. Regular cold exposure trains the body to handle stress by activating the release of norepinephrine, a hormone that improves cognitive function and mood. Research by Dr. Rhonda Patrick shows that cold exposure can enhance resilience, helping you adapt to stress more effectively over time. 3. Endorphin release. Cold showers trigger the release of endorphins, your body's natural feel-good chemicals. This rush of hormones can alleviate symptoms of anxiety and depression, improving overall mental well-being. Keys. 3 practical tips for getting started. 1. Start small. If you're new to cold showers, don't dive straight into a 25-minute icy plunge. Begin by lowering the temperature of your regular shower for the last 30 seconds. Gradually extend the cold exposure as your body adapts. 2. Use guided meditation. If meditation feels unfamiliar, start with guided sessions through apps like Headspace or Calm. These tools offer easy-to-follow instructions to help you build a meditation habit. 3. Commit to consistency. As with any habit, consistency is key. Stick with the 25 and 5 method for at least 3 weeks to see the full benefits. Track your progress and note how your body responds to stress over time. He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. Confucius. Chapter 16. Discovering Your Productivity DNA. Have you ever wondered why some days you feel incredibly focused while on others it seems impossible to get anything done? In a world full of distractions, unlocking your productivity DNA is crucial for success. Just as no two individuals are exactly alike, our productivity rhythms can vary significantly. To harness your true potential, you must understand when your mind is most active and receptive to work. Take Barack Obama, the 44th President of the United States. Despite the pressures of running a country, Obama had a keen sense of his productivity DNA. He structured his days to optimize decision-making, scheduling his most critical tasks in the morning when his energy was highest. He also minimized decision fatigue by wearing only gray or blue suits and maintaining a routine. Obama ensured mental rejuvenation by reserving evenings for reflection, family time, and reading. Similarly, Jeff Bezos, the visionary behind Amazon, emphasizes the importance of identifying peak productivity hours. Bezos schedules his mentally strenuous meetings for 10 a.m., knowing that his decision-making capacity wanes by late afternoon. He also prioritizes 8 hours of sleep, stating, "If I make just 3 good decisions a day, that's enough." His strategy highlights the importance of aligning your schedule with your natural productivity rhythm. Now let's turn to Charles Darwin, whose scientific breakthroughs were a result of his rigorous, structured approach to work. Darwin's daily routine was designed around his peak mental hours, enabling him to make groundbreaking contributions to science. He adhered to a highly organized schedule, working in 90-minute intervals during the morning, followed by short breaks for reflection and physical activity. Darwin's mornings were reserved for his most intellectually demanding work. After a refreshing walk to stimulate his thinking, Darwin would settle into his study to write and conduct research. This focused routine allowed him to maximize his mental clarity when it was at its highest. After a few hours of intense work, Darwin would break for a leisurely lunch, often reading or engaging in lighter tasks, which gave his brain the rest it needed to maintain creativity and productivity. In the afternoons, Darwin took another long walk, during which he often reflected on the morning's work and allowed his mind to wander, a practice similar to modern-day active rest. These afternoon breaks, combined with his structured mornings, were crucial to his scientific breakthroughs. By adhering to a routine that fit his personal productivity DNA, Darwin was able to consistently produce high-quality work over decades, despite not working long hours. This alignment of his work with his natural rhythms echoes scientific research on productivity. Dr. Christoph Randler, a biology professor, found that morning people tend to be more proactive and successful in their careers. The research supports Darwin's approach, suggesting that many people's brains operate best in the early hours, primed for deep thinking and problem solving. The 180-minute rule. Most people have about 180 minutes, 3 hours, of peak productivity before their focus starts to wane. Structuring your day accordingly can boost your efficiency. The Pomodoro technique, which breaks work into 40-minute intervals with 10-minute breaks, is one way to maximize productivity during these peak hours. Keys to finding your unique rhythm. 1. Track your energy levels. For a week, log your energy and focus throughout the day. Identify patterns in your natural rhythms. 2. Identify your peak work hours. Analyze your data to pinpoint when you feel most focused. Use this time for your most mentally demanding tasks. 3. Implement the 180-minute rule. Organize your day into focused 3-hour blocks of work, followed by breaks. 4. Minimize decision fatigue. Reduce small decisions by planning ahead. Create routines for low-stakes choices to save mental energy for high-priority work. 5. Experiment and adjust. Regularly reassess your productivity rhythm as life changes and adjust your schedule accordingly. While morning hours often provide the ideal canvas for productivity, everyone's rhythm is unique. The key is self-awareness. Track your patterns over a few weeks to find your sweet spot. Your productivity DNA is key to achieving your goals efficiently. By recognizing your most active hours and structuring your day accordingly, you can unlock your full potential. Lost time is never found again. Benjamin Franklin. Chapter 17. Don't be a poor planner. A roadmap to success. We all make plans, whether it's for retirement, family gatherings, or what we aspire to be when we grow up. However, what we often overlook is the importance of planning thoroughly, from start to finish. Planning should be viewed as a roadmap that guides us to our desired destination, whether that's a favorite vacation spot or achieving life goals. Each step along the way should be part of a well-thought-out guidebook. For instance, think about the excitement you feel when you're preparing to visit family out of town or having relatives come to visit you. In your mind, you envision all the fun activities and how happy everyone will be. However, after the first day or two, you may notice that excitement fades and people start lounging around as if they were back home. Why does this happen? It's because we often plan partially, focusing only on the start of the visit without considering the entire duration. This is exactly what happened to Jason. Section 1. The Guest List Dilemma. One afternoon, as Jason was leaving work, he received a call from his cousin Terry, who announced he was planning to visit for 4 days in June. Jason, excited and smiling, agreed that it was the perfect time for Terry's visit since it had been so long. When the day came, Jason picked Terry up from the airport. They grabbed a meal at Dairy Queen and caught up on life before heading to Jason's home to drop off Terry's luggage. The first day was great. They even visited Jason's brother Roger and enjoyed watching sports together. But the next morning, Jason woke up with a sinking realization. He hadn't planned anything for the rest of Terry's visit. After the excitement of the first day, they both found themselves without much to do. Does this sound familiar? Terry ended up spending the next couple of days sitting around the house, scrolling through his phone, and wandering through local stores, feeling bored and disappointed. The visit, which started with so much potential, didn't meet Terry's expectations. We've all experienced this, planning for the initial excitement, but running out of ideas as the days go by. Being a guest with nothing planned can be a huge letdown, and a lack of activities can turn a vacation into an ordinary, dull experience. The best way to host family or friends is to treat their visit like a detailed schedule, with specific plans for each day. Whether it's movie night, dining out, attending events, or outdoor activities, planning every day ensures that the visit remains memorable. The key takeaway: plan the entire visit, not just the start. This way, your guests leave with lasting memories and excitement about coming back in the future. Section 2. The Retirement Puzzle. Now imagine someone working for 30 years, eagerly counting down to retirement. Retirement is often seen as the final destination, but many people fail to plan for what comes after. They focus so much on leaving their job that they forget to structure their days once the job is done. Just like with a family visit, planning your retirement involves thinking ahead. Start at least a year before retirement, considering how you want your days to look. Will you travel? Spend more time on hobbies? Volunteer? Having a structured plan for your retirement ensures that this next chapter of your life is full of purpose and excitement. Create a detailed list of what you want to do, whether it's taking a trip to Europe, exploring new hobbies, or spending time with family. A clear roadmap for post-work life will help keep you engaged and fulfilled. Retirement shouldn't be an end. It should be a new beginning. Understand, failure to plan is planning to fail. When we don't plan, life feels disorganized. It leaves others and ourselves feeling like things are out of control. But when we take time to organize and think things through, we create a path to success that is easy to follow. Planning helps us appear more focused, prepared, and structured in the eyes of others, and makes our lives more manageable and enjoyable. Strategic planning isn't just for businesses. It's a life skill that can improve our personal and professional lives. Breaking the habit of poor planning allows us to take control of our future, ensuring that we're not just reacting to life, but proactively shaping it. Keys to successful planning. Step 1. Plan daily activities for guests. When hosting visitors, create a schedule of events and activities. This will keep everyone entertained and prevent boredom. Step 2. Outline your first year of retirement. Think ahead to your post-work life. Make a list of activities, travel destinations, and personal projects you want to pursue. Step 3. Set clear goals. Whether it's a small task or a long-term goal, be clear about what you want to achieve. Step 4. Break goals into manageable tasks. This will make achieving your goals less overwhelming and more attainable. Step 5. Use a calendar. Scheduling your task helps you stay on track and keeps your progress visual. Step 6. Be flexible. Life doesn't always go as planned, and that's okay. Adjust as needed while keeping your final goal in sight. Step 7. Review regularly. Periodically check your progress to stay motivated and adjust plans as necessary. Strategic thinkers know that plans may change, but planning is everything. By adopting these principles, you can navigate life more effectively, ensuring that your success is not left to chance, but is the result of careful preparation. Plans are nothing. Planning is everything. Dwight D. Eisenhower. Chapter 18. Celebrate every achievement, even the small ones. Have you ever achieved something, only to move on so quickly that you barely acknowledged it? Do you sometimes feel like your successes aren't worth celebrating because they don't seem big enough? Well, every achievement, no matter how small, deserves celebration. Failing to acknowledge even the tiniest victories can lead to feelings of unworthiness or, worse, a sense of emptiness. Even people who reach remarkable milestones sometimes feel like they haven't done enough. Why? Because they rush from one goal to the next without pausing to appreciate what they've already conquered. Take David, for example. His story is a powerful reminder that even small wins can transform your life when you take the time to celebrate them. David grew up in a neighborhood where success stories were rare. He wasn't surrounded by role models, and opportunities seemed scarce. By the age of 16, he had dropped out of school, feeling like he had no path forward. Life was a daily grind, and he worked odd jobs just to get by. Each day was about survival, and big dreams seemed too distant to even consider. But despite the circumstances, David had a spark inside him, a quiet determination to create a better life. That drive, however, often went unnoticed by others, and even by himself. After years of working dead-end jobs and barely making ends meet, he reached a breaking point. He was exhausted, feeling like life had beaten him down. One night, he sat on his porch, looking out into the dark, wondering if all his efforts even mattered. Then, something shifted. One day, David was walking past the local library when he decided to step inside. He hadn't read a book in years, but something about that moment pulled him in. He picked up a book on self-improvement and read a quote that stuck with him. Small steps, when taken with consistency, lead to big change. He wasn't sure why it resonated, but it did. From that moment on, David decided to approach life differently, not by focusing on big, far-off goals, but by celebrating each step, no matter how small. His first achievement? Getting his GED. It took months of studying after work, often late into the night, but when David passed that test, he didn't brush it off. He celebrated, not with a grand party, but by buying himself a small notebook where he wrote, "I did it. This is just the beginning." That notebook would go on to document every achievement in his life. Next, David set a goal to get a better-paying job. He applied to a landscaping company and was hired as an assistant. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a step forward. On his first day, as he put on his work gloves, he smiled to himself and thought, "This is a win." It was a small victory, but it represented progress. Over the next year, David worked hard and earned the respect of his boss. One day, he was promoted to a crew leader, responsible for managing a small team. That night, David wrote in his notebook, "Today I became a leader." Instead of downplaying the moment, he allowed himself to feel proud. He took his team out for a casual dinner to celebrate, a small but meaningful gesture. As time went on, David's confidence grew with each achievement. He saved enough money to buy his first car, a used but reliable pickup truck. For David, this wasn't just about transportation. It was a symbol of independence. He no longer had to rely on public transit or wait for rides. He had control over his own life. To celebrate, he took the truck for a long drive to a quiet spot by the river, where he sat and reflected on how far he'd come. But David didn't stop there. His next goal was to start his own landscaping business. He spent months learning the ins and outs of running a small company, taking online courses at night, and networking with other business owners. When he finally registered his business, he didn't let the moment pass unnoticed. He threw a small cookout for his friends and family to mark the occasion, not because he had made it yet, but because he knew how important it was to celebrate the start of something new. Years later, David's business was thriving. He had several employees, a growing client base, and a sense of accomplishment that he had never felt before. He continued to celebrate every achievement, no matter how small, from signing a new contract to receiving a thank you card from a satisfied customer. Each one was another step forward, another reason to be proud of the life he was building. By the time David was 35, he had not only built a successful business, but he had also paid off his first home and was investing in property. Every milestone was written down in that same notebook he had started years ago when he passed his GED. It was filled with notes like, "Bought my first truck today," and "landed a major contract," each a reminder of the journey he had taken. Why celebration matters. Celebration isn't just about joy. It's a psychological marker. When we celebrate, our brains register the accomplishment as complete, giving us closure and allowing us to move forward with a renewed sense of purpose. Skipping this step can lead to feelings of unworthiness or incompleteness. Our brains respond to recognition and validation, not just material rewards. LeBron James once said, "We play games without the fans? Nah, that's impossible. I ain't playing if I ain't got the fans in the crowd." His words highlight a fundamental truth. We seek acknowledgement because it reinforces our achievements. However, many people think they can go on with their lives without making efforts and avoid the preparation of getting family and friends to gather every time they accomplish something. No, you make this exact mistake and end up feeling unworthy. Don't be that person. Our brain understands big events with a lot of people as a celebration. Look at when the sports team wins a major championship like the Chicago Cubs did in 2016. Did you see the streets and fields filled with people? Did you see the bars and arenas filled with people? Those players felt great. Imagine if they weren't there. Oh, right. So take the step now, or maybe not now, but today, to acknowledge and celebrate your achievements, no matter how small. Doing so will not only boost your self-worth, but also propel you toward even greater success in the future. You don't need a crowd of thousands, but acknowledging your wins is crucial with family and friends. Without this, you risk feeling unworthy of your own successes. Understand, every victory, no matter its size, deserves its moment in the sun. Embrace the royal approach to celebration, and let your achievements be known and remembered with the grandeur they deserve. Like a king or queen savoring the fruits of victory, cherish and commemorate each success in a manner that reflects its true significance. 6. Keys to celebrate. Celebration doesn't need to be extravagant. What matters is recognizing and appreciating the effort. Here are 6 simple but meaningful ways to celebrate. 1. Journal your achievements. Write down every win, big or small. Reflect on how far you've come. This practice helps you visualize your growth and serves as a reminder when you need motivation. 2. Share your success. Sharing your achievements with someone reinforces their significance. Whether it's a text, a call, or a conversation over coffee, telling someone makes your success feel more real. 3. Create visual reminders. Display your success, a framed certificate, a vision board, or even a sticky note on your mirror. Seeing these reminders daily helps solidify your achievements in your mind. 4. Reward yourself. Treat yourself to something that brings you joy, whether it's a meal, a small gift, or an hour of relaxation. Rewarding yourself helps your brain associate success with positive reinforcement. 5. Host a mini celebration. For bigger milestones, host a small gathering with loved ones. It doesn't have to be elaborate. A dinner, a casual get-together, or even a video call can go a long way in acknowledging your achievement. 6. Create a ritual. Develop a personal ritual for celebrating. Whether it's lighting a candle, listening to your favorite song, or taking a walk, having a consistent way to mark your wins gives them meaning. Final thoughts. Every victory, no matter the size, deserves recognition. Celebrate your achievements with the grandeur they deserve. By doing so, you honor not just the result, but the hard work, sacrifices, and growth along the way. Let each step forward be remembered with purpose and pride. Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. Vincent van Gogh. Chapter 19. The Gift of Limited Time. It's easy to believe that time stretches infinitely before us, leading us to postpone dreams, delay actions, and assume there's always another tomorrow. But what if we shifted our perspective? What if we understood that time is a precious, limited gift, and once we're gone, there's no coming back? If you're reading this, let's take a moment to grab a sheet of paper. If you're a man, the average life expectancy is 72 years old. And if you're a woman, it's 79 years old. Write down your current age, then subtract it from your life expectancy. Convert those remaining years into hours, days, and minutes, and you'll see that you don't have as much time left as you might think. For example, if I'm 23 years old and I'm a man, subtracting my age from 72 leaves 49 years, equivalent to 17,885 days. As you can see, that's not so far away. This chapter invites you to recognize the significance of this concept and urges us to acknowledge that each moment is a life stamp marking our existence. So ask yourself, how will you spend the time you have left? Every second is an opportunity to shape your legacy. Don't let it slip away. I've always been inspired by those who have faced life-threatening situations. Their courage and resilience serve as powerful reminders to embrace every moment of life. These individuals show us the true value of being alive and encourage us to cherish each day, regardless of the challenges we may face. Their stories are a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the importance of living fully, even in the face of adversity. We find inspiration in those who have confronted life-threatening illnesses like cancer, sickle cell anemia, and HIV. Their strength and the way they embrace each moment after diagnosis teach us powerful lessons about how facing mortality can change our perspective on time. These individuals living through their life stamps serve as vivid reminders of the priceless value of every moment, which should never be taken for granted. Yet, many only grasp this truth when they're facing their final moments. Before Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, passed away, he shared thoughts that resonated deeply with many. He talked about how, given more time, he would focus on what truly mattered. His realization highlighted that time, more than anything else, is our most precious possession. What are life stamps? Life stamps are significant events or experiences in a person's life that leave a lasting impact, shaping their outlook, values, and behaviors. These events can be positive or negative and often serve as pivotal moments that prompt reflection, growth, and personal development. The cost of complacency. This sense of urgency contrasts starkly with the complacency of those who haven't encountered such life-altering challenges, living every day as if they have an abundance of time on earth. I've concluded that it's often the people who believe they have plenty of time who end up doing nothing with it. The illusion of infinite time leads to procrastination, missed opportunities, and a false belief in endless tomorrows. It's a cautionary tale against wasting our most precious resource. Curtis Jackson, known worldwide as 50 Cent, exemplifies the transformative power of confronting mortality. After surviving 9 gunshot wounds, he didn't just cheat death, he received a life stamp that radically altered his life's direction. These bullets were a stark wake-up call, highlighting life's fragility and the value of time, propelling him from the streets to the heights of music and entrepreneurial success. It took the public 18 years to fully recognize his greatness. Many labeled him negatively, a troll, or simply jealous. However, 50 Cent has always been a Renaissance man at heart. Let's explore how he has seized every moment, relentlessly moving forward from 2000 to 2024. Early in his career, 50 Cent made significant strides in the music industry. In 2002, he signed deals with Eminem's Shady Records, Dr. Dre's Aftermath Entertainment, and Interscope Records. On February 6, 2003, he released his debut album, Get Rich or Die Tryin'. He founded G-Unit Films in 2003 and launched the G-Unit Clothing Company in 2004, marking further expansion into entrepreneurship. In October 2004, he became a minority shareholder in Vitamin Water, Glacéau, a move that proved lucrative. In 2007, his investment paid off when Coca-Cola acquired Glacéau, earning him around $100 million. That same year, he established the G-Unity Foundation, showing his commitment to philanthropy. In 2009, he founded Cheetah Vision, another venture in the entertainment industry. By 2010, G-Unit Films led to the production of Power and its spin-offs under G-Unit Films and Television, Inc. In 2011, he founded SMS Audio, demonstrating his move into the audio technology sector. In 2012, SMS Promotions, a boxing promotions company, was formed, diversifying his business portfolio. In 2014, he entered the spirits industry by founding Sire Spirits and securing a minority stake in Effin Vodka. He also inked a $78 million deal with Frigo Revolution Wear. By 2015, a partnership with Effin Vodka solidified his presence in the spirits market. On November 24, 2021, he received honors from Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner during the Thanksgiving Day Parade. In 2024, Mayor Arsenault honored him by granting him a key to the city of Shreveport and declaring April 18th as 50 Cent Day. 50 Cent's career as a Grammy Award winner and multi-platinum selling artist is underscored by numerous accolades: 13 Billboard Music Awards, 6 World Music Awards, 3 American Music Awards, 4 BET Awards. His impact on the music industry is undeniable. Billboard magazine recognized him as the #1 rap artist and the most successful Hot 100 artist of the 2000s. He was also ranked the 6th best artist and 4th top male artist of that decade. With appearances in 88 music videos, 31 television programs, 25 films, and 3 video games, 50 Cent's influence extends far beyond music. Reflecting on 50 Cent's ascent to fame, I'm truly astounded by his rapid achievements and the scope of his accomplishments. What makes him appear almost superhuman? After much contemplation, I've realized that he treasures every moment, valuing each second and every connection he forms. These relationships, often built through various telecommunication channels, served as essential resources in constructing the platforms that propelled him forward. Notably, he never wasted time on non-contributory associations during his rise. 50 Cent's approach to life mirrors meticulous planning, akin to navigating a roadmap detailed year by year. Intriguingly, he managed to feature his son's company, Sire Spirit, in multiple sports stadiums. This achievement led me to question how he manages to accomplish so much. My analysis over the years reveals his strategic mindset. He meticulously documented psychological profiles of executives, including their objectives and unmet needs, offering solutions where others couldn't. Recognizing that certain approvals required the mayor's consent, he smartly secured a connection with the mayor before engaging with sports teams. This strategic move facilitated easier negotiations, leveraging his relationships to achieve his goals. Understanding that some individuals are influenced by the momentum of others, 50 Cent skillfully navigated through different personality types, from the most receptive to the more challenging ones. He identified the pivotal role of social proof, especially with those more resistant, thereby strategically positioning himself for success. 50 Cent's visionary approach extends beyond immediate gains. For instance, his contract with Starz, though seemingly modest with a payout of $17,000 per episode for someone of his stature, was not about the money. Instead, he saw it as an opportunity to gain experience and demonstrate his capabilities, a move not typical for someone with his achievements and status. Moreover, his collaboration with author Robert Greene on the 50 Laws of Power highlights his strategic and broad-minded approach. From being a Grammy-winning hip-hop artist and TV producer to a philanthropist, 50 Cent embodies the essence of a Renaissance man. It's disheartening that many only receive acclaim posthumously, as people often fail to recognize greatness in their midst. Through this chapter, My aim was to acknowledge 50 Cent's remarkable understanding of human nature and his significant achievements. We should appreciate his genius and contributions while he's here, celebrating him as a true visionary and master strategist. 50 Cent's relentless drive and strategic use of time are a testament to what can be achieved when we recognize the urgency of our aspirations. His journey showcases a profound understanding of the value of every second, every minute, and his story is a vivid illustration of seizing every moment. Understand. Although it may appear as though time stretches endlessly before us, the truth is quite the opposite. Time is a precious commodity, granted to us in limited supply. We must not be deceived into believing that life will pause for our convenience or that the perfect moment will simply materialize. Life has a way of demonstrating its significance, sometimes through gentle nudges, and at other times through unmistakable signals. Let us not squander the gift of time, but rather embrace its value and make the most of every fleeting moment. Remember, life doesn't wait, it goes. Life stamps and time utilization. It's an undeniable truth that those who have weathered life's storms encountered what I call life stamps, those significant, often gut-wrenching events, tend to wield their time more purposefully than those who haven't faced such trials. These moments force us to confront the fleeting nature of our existence, igniting a fire within us to seize every moment with purpose and intention. Life stamps serve as potent reminders that time is a finite resource, not to be squandered, but cherished and utilized wisely. They jolt us awake, compelling us to reassess our priorities and pursue what truly matters. It's as if surviving these crucibles gifts us with newfound clarity, driving us to make the most of every breath we take. On the flip side, those who haven't confronted life stamps often fall prey to the illusion of endless time. They languish in a false sense of security, believing there will always be another tomorrow to chase their dreams. But the truth is, tomorrow is never guaranteed, and opportunities slip through their fingers as they procrastinate and delay. So let us heed the lessons of those who've faced life stamps and embrace each moment with purpose and vigor. Let's not wait for tragedy to awaken us to the preciousness of time. Instead, let's seize the day, for life stamps or not, time waits for no one. A new perspective from the wrongfully convicted. Among life's experiences, few are as life-changing as being wrongfully convicted and later proven innocent. Imagine spending years in prison for a crime you didn't commit, only to finally regain your freedom. This ordeal profoundly alters your perception of time and liberty. The pain of unjust imprisonment and the relief of freedom leave a lasting impact. Each day spent behind bars is a stark reminder of time slipping away, lost in the grip of injustice. But upon release, there's a newfound appreciation, a recognition of just how precious every moment of freedom truly is. This life-altering experience acts as a powerful wake-up call, reminding us of life's fragility and the need to treasure every fleeting moment. It ignites a fresh determination to live with purpose and meaning. The scars of wrongful conviction become symbols of strength, propelling a relentless pursuit of a fulfilling life. So let's not wait for such extreme circumstances to teach us the value of time. Let's learn from those who have faced such trials and seize every day with unwavering determination. After all, whether or not we experience life stamps, time is a precious gift that waits for no one. The transformative power of life stamps. The difference in how time is perceived and utilized between those who have faced life-altering life stamps and those who have not underscores the transformative power of these experiences. They not only change perceptions of time, but also inspire actions that align with a more intentional and purposeful life. For those who have experienced these critical moments, life becomes something to be lived fully and meaningfully. with an acute consciousness of making each day count. Keys to take action. How can we apply these lessons to our own lives? The answer lies in a shift of mindset. Rather than seeing time as an adversary or a limitless resource, we recognize it as our most valuable asset. By actively engaging with our passions, setting meaningful goals, and being fully present in our endeavors, we can make the most of the time we have. Inspired by the stories of resilience from those who have faced profound life stamps, we are reminded to live deliberately and with gratitude for every moment. Conclusion. Embrace the gift of limited time. In concluding this chapter, let's remember the wisdom of those who have faced life-threatening illnesses, the inspiration of individuals like 50 Cent, and the significant impact of life stamps, such as wrongful conviction and exoneration. These experiences teach us that time is indeed finite. By embracing the gift of limited time, we can ignite our passions, fuel our purposes, and embark on a life of fulfillment. Recognizing and learning from life stamps, whether our own or others, empowers us to live more intentionally, making each day count and enriching our journey through life. Live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Mahatma Gandhi. Chapter 20. Everyone doesn't live on. Don't be fooled. We live in a world of billions, where it's all too easy to get lost in the crowd. Day by day, most of us move through life, navigating routines, obligations, and moments of temporary joy or struggle. But here's a question. Are we merely existing, or are we truly living in a way that ensures our presence is felt long after we're gone? Are we making an impact that echoes through time? Or are we destined to fade away, forgotten like so many others? Let's confront a difficult truth. Not everyone lives on. Time, that relentless tide, has a way of erasing the ordinary. History often preserves only the extraordinary, the people who dared to step out of the shadows and create something lasting. Their names, their words, their actions, these are the things that survive. It's not about how long you live. It's about the choices you make while you're alive. Consider for a moment the lives of three extraordinary individuals: Bob Marley, Tupac Shakur, and Martin Luther King Jr. They all lived relatively short lives, yet their influence transcended their years. Bob Marley's music continues to inspire movements for peace and justice. Tupac's words still resonate with the struggles of those fighting oppression, and Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream still pulses through the veins of every fight for equality. Why do their legacies endure? Because they lived boldly, with purpose. They chose to leave a lasting emotional mark on humanity. Now contrast this with the millions of people whose lives come and go without leaving a ripple. Many live and pass without ever making their mark, their stories untold, their memories fading quickly with time. Think about it. Can you recall the name of your great-great-great-grandfather or grandmother? How many stories of their lives do you know? For many of us, those names are lost, their legacies dimmed to nothing more than unmarked dates in family history. It's not because they didn't live good lives, but because they didn't take a stand to be remembered. They didn't understand the importance of creating a legacy that outlives the body. Understand this. The people who live on in history, the Marleys, the Kings, the Shakurs, are not remembered because they were lucky. They are remembered because they made a conscious choice to be fearless, to act with intention, and to refuse to blend into the background. Their legacies continue because people tell their stories, write books about them, teach their philosophies in schools, and commemorate their actions with holidays. Their stories survive through constant retelling, through the active choice of others to remember them. Our ancestors, the ordinary people who lived before us, didn't know how to harness this power of storytelling. But you do. Your legacy does not need to be global to be powerful. You don't have to be famous, rich, or in a history book. All it takes is one thing: a choice. A choice to make an emotional impact on those around you: a friend, a family member, a stranger. You don't need to touch millions of lives. If you profoundly touch just one, you've already begun to live on. Scientists often mention that most people are remembered for only one generation after their death. After that, unless they've left something remarkable behind, their memory fades. If you're not actively discussed, not remembered in stories, not visited at your grave, you disappear from history. This is not a call to live in fear of being forgotten. It's a call to action, to live in a way that ensures your life matters beyond the present moment. It's about living with intention, making decisions that ripple outwards and touch others, inspiring them to carry your memory forward. It's about choosing to live in a way that you know will be felt, not just for the rest of your life, but for generations. Your impact isn't measured by wealth or status. It's measured by the depth of your influence, by the way you've touched the lives around you. Consider the people who have made a mark on your life. Maybe it was a teacher who saw your potential when no one else did, a friend who stood by you when life fell apart, a mentor who gave you wisdom and guidance when you needed it most. These people live on in you because they made a choice to invest in your life, to give a part of themselves to you. Now it's your turn. Who will you invest in? What will you give to the world? Take a moment right now and ask yourself, what am I doing to be remembered? Are you making choices that will resonate beyond your time here? Are you building a legacy that will inspire others? Are you living in a way that honors the lives of those who came before you and will make your descendants proud? This is the time to decide, not tomorrow, not when you've reached some arbitrary milestone. Today, right now, decide that you will live on forever, not just in memories that fade within a generation, but in the hearts and minds of those who will carry your story forward. Choose to make an impact that outlasts your body. Choose to inspire. Choose to leave a mark on the world. You may not reach the heights of global fame, but you can be immortal in the way that matters most. By the lives you've touched, the people you've inspired, and the changes you've sparked. Don't let the world fool you into thinking life is just about going through the motions. Life is about leaving a legacy. It's about living so intentionally and with such passion that your story becomes part of the fabric of others' lives. Your legacy is not measured by the years you live, but by the lives you touch and the hearts you inspire. Donnie Taylor. Chapter 21. Agreement to Self. Conclusion. As we conclude this book, I encourage you to write down your goals and dreams, along with the consequences of not achieving them. Whether you have the physical book or the audio version, take a moment to reflect on your aspirations and how you plan to realize them. Personal commitment note. As this journey through the pages comes to an end, I stand at the threshold of new beginnings. This book has not only been a guide, but a beacon, illuminating the dreams and goals that lie deep within me. It's time to bring these aspirations from the shadows into the light. Below, I commit myself in writing to not only pursue, but achieve these goals. This personal commitment note serves as a solemn promise to myself and a reminder of what I must do. I, your full name, commit to the following goals. 1. Goal. Describe your goal. Planned actions. List the steps you plan to take to achieve this goal. Timeline. Set a realistic deadline for achieving this goal. 2. Goal. Describe your next goal. Planned actions. List the steps you plan to take to achieve this goal. Timeline. Set a realistic deadline for achieving this goal. Continue with additional goals as needed. The importance of consequences. Setting consequences for not meeting my goals is crucial. It creates a sense of accountability and urgency that compels action. These self-imposed consequences are not punishments, but reminders of the importance of commitment and the cost of inaction. They help maintain discipline and focus, ensuring that I do not deviate from my path or lower the standards I've set for myself. Accountability clause. Should I find myself straying from this path or facing the temptation to abandon my goals, I impose upon myself the following consequences as a means of accountability. If I do not pursue or meet my goal of Goal 1, I will. Describe the consequence. If I do not pursue or meet my goal of Goal 2, I will describe the consequence. Continue with additional consequences for each goal as needed. This note is a declaration of my determination, a contract signed with the ink of resolve and commitment. I acknowledge that the journey ahead is mine alone, but the first step starts with believing in the path I have set today. Signature. Date. I found that nothing in life is worthwhile unless you take risks. Nothing. Denzel Washington. Remember, life don't wait, it goes. Thank you for reading this book. This book was presented by UTE Audio Production, written by Dr. MahdiMonroe, read by AI, edited by Genesis Rodriguez and Isaiah Gurley, maybe not now, but today.